Welcome on in, everyone. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate it. We got Delos Chaos. We got Dracofeb Pseudowolf. Glad to have you here. Really appreciate it. It is Tuesday, which means that, yes, as you have guessed, and for those of you just joining us today, make sure to peek that pinned message because it is very important. Welcome on in, Darcel Saber. Glad to have you here. Really appreciate it. Okay, so while I'm getting stuff set up, there is a thing that I, you know, just gonna have a heart-to-heart moment with y'all, chat. Heavy story time? Yes, it is. So for those of you who are somewhat new, or you know, basically weren't around for the Echo arc, which is Echo is the prequel to this. Is it still a prequel? If it's like if it was the original one, technically this is the sequel. I don't know if those are mutually related. But anyways, sorry about the me getting distracted. Anyways, yeah. So just quick to heart, especially with how today has gone for them. I'm gonna go ahead and put a moratorium on the jokes about Brian. Welcome on in, Yak. Glad to have you here. I really appreciate it. For those of you who are around for for Echo, you know, Brian is a bastard, evil, like, mass murderer but he's also someone that people, can appreciate as a villain, and to some degree that got misconstrued as attraction, for one person in specific. So yeah, there was an ongoing joke of haha, X person is attracted to Brian, but also that joke has kind of outlived its comedic value, and it's closing in on being bullying instead of an in joke. And especially with how today has gone, for one person in particular, just keep it cool, because I imagine we're gonna end up running into Brian based on everything the game has set up at this point. So yeah, let me go ahead and get. Oh, there are 2 marshes. Let me go ahead and unmute. I return.
Hey, Sarky.
Hello.
There's still 2 marshes. I
What
need
the-
to fix this.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
2 marches. What?
Marsh in his stand.
There's Marsh
What?
and
One
Marsh.
second.
Okay, let me
One
go ahead and hide the group.
Wait,
Don't do it.
there's
Don't
two
do it.
me-
Why are there 2 of me?
It's too
There's
late.
2 of me too.
Wait, why is? Oh, there are
Why
two
is there
of you.
2?
Because I
There's a
had
second
the
me
group thing.
behind.
Also, Marsh, why are you bigger than you were before?
Why is Marsh
I think
big?
because you expanded Buff Marsh, and now that I'm using a
Okay,
different.
that's
thing.
fair. Welcome on in, Small Marsh. Mini and Macro Marsh. Welcome on in, Drift King. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Oh, also, Starkey, I told Chell that I need to tell you.
Yes.
When you make posts about Echo Project, make sure Echo Project stuff. Make sure to put hashtag Echo Project in
Okay.
there. It gets
Yes.
It gets a lot of eyes on it.
That is fair. I probably should have. I was considering doing that, but I was also unsure if it was Arch's VN or
I
what
did
what
both
to tag
in
it
my
as.
tweet about it.
Okay, fair.
Sometimes even at Echo Project, because sometimes the devs link the comment.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 Marsh and 2 chill. Dreams do come true. Welcome on in, Slicken Buddy. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Also, glad to have you here, Drift King. Oh, I'm not excited for this week as we head
Get
into.
excited, Starkey!
What do you mean?
Get excited!
We're about to run into a fucking murderer.
Who says that?
Wait, some shit?
The
I was
game
like,
itself has said that.
No, you're fine.
No, you're
That's just-
fine.
Fine. No one lives in Echo anymore.
That is demonstrably false. We've already run into Cliff. No, not Cliff. Who?
Duke.
Duke. Run into Duke. And we know for a fact Brian's around here because he's already murdered someone else.
It's fine. No one lives here.
Okay. What even
Fine.
happened yesterday or last week?
Artie
Lot.
came in to help. Artie came in to
That's
help.
There you go.
It didn't
Oh.
really help. They got they got
Saves.
high.
Wait, fuck. What have I done? Okay, this is the right one. Or could be fine.
No!
What?
Oh
You
no!
saved over it!
What do you? I'm gonna morb.
You can skip. You can skip through it. Can you skip through it? Can you skip through it? You can.
Okay,
Thank
this all happened. Plot.
Oh, thank God for the skip feature. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, that's right.
Got high with Artie.
Cam and Artie showed up. Cam and Artie got high. There's the gun. A very
sure
very
to
sad
stop it.
scenes.
Soon.
Yeah, make sure
There
it
we go.
stops.
There we go. There. Wait.
No, wait, no. Once they get to the forest, it should stop them for when.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we
it should
go.
stop
We're
automatically.
here.
There we go.
This is.
Ugh.
Thank God for
There we
the
go.
skip.
That's what happened last week.
Yeah, that's all. That's all that happened.
ever-
That's
you ever
3
just-
hours of stream.
Fast forward through your trauma. I'm sorry, cats. My life is a nightmare. I'm low key. I'm still like emotionally recovering from the holidays. Not because anything in particular bad. It's just because the holidays are so fucking stressful for me. Like I have to put my fucking house into basically clean up my house. Devin voice.
Wow, you had to clean. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Seasonal depression hits all of us differently. Oh yeah, welcome on in, cats. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Little moment
A
that-
mood.
Did any of my
Hey, just think of it on the bright side. It was motivation to actually clean, whereas the rest of the year, it's just like, oh, I don't want to clean. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, it's like during the holidays, it's fuck, people are gonna be over. I gotta clean.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like Darcel Saber says, the holidays are extremely draining. So it's like it's me, making it through, and now I'm doing a little bit better. I'm putting my house somewhat in order and getting things ready for the new year.
Oh yeah.
So last week on Echo, we speed ran Trauma. Uh, what even happened?
We just saw what happened.
Welcome
So
on,
Artie came to
Vixen.
help. Artie came to help. They both Artie
That's
and Cam
right.
both got high.
Yeah.
Cam kind of had a whole panic attack because they thought they saw the raincoat monster.
Yes.
They thought
Dev is freaking Cam out. Cam ran away, but then Dev went to help them, and now Artie is in the forest for
Oh
some
yeah.
reason, and they both went in after him.
And Duke did something to fuck up Artie's engine. That's right.
Oh yeah, they took the cables out of their car, so they can't leave.
Yep. Or at the very least, not on foot. And
Yeah, and then
Artie is being the hugest dipshit in the world and running into the forest for
oh, and
reasons.
and
Why?
Cam saw a vision of someone who killed on the path he was on, and they saw a UFO.
yeah.
We go and normalize out the volumes. I don't know why I have to keep it. It feels like the audio never stays consistent between streams, which is not a goof at you. It's just for whatever reason it seems like Discord randomizes who is loud and who is quiet this week.
I'm trying to stay like a good like fist between my my
Okay.
mic for this. Make sure my voice sounds clear, but also not too loud.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, fixed. So Artie disappeared into the woods, where previously a very, very angry redneck with a shotgun threatened our lives. So, good stuff happens in this woods.
Casual day in the South.
But if putting the car neutral would be faster than just walking. Almost certainly not.
No, that's a ton of weight they have to push.
Welcome on in, Atomica. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
I think you're thinking of just like getting in the car and then
Well, because it's
Oh,
a
they're gonna
desert.
pull
It's
fi-
flat.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of flat.
Oh god, they're gonna pull an opening to Final Fantasy 15.
What was the opening to Final Fantasy 15?
Their car breaks down, they're just pushing across the
Oh,
road.
that's right. The guy is going to his wedding or something.
and oh, who's the that's just oh fuck, who's the Florence, and then Florence of the Machine starts playing in the background. That is not a joke. That happens in Final Fantasy 15. It's like how in Stranger in Paradise, Frank Sinatra starts singing. That's not a joke.
What?
There's Frank Sinatra music in Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise.
I
For some
knew they
reason.
had like wasn't it, what was that like screamo band? They had like a song or like emo band or something like that.
Oh, you're thinking of 13-2 for the Chocobo theme?
Well, no, because like I remember they had a song because like the guy was like "fuck this" and take out his iPhone and played
Oh,
a
yeah.
song.
It's time to
I forgot about that scene.
it's time to have our summoner bring in Frank Sinatra.
I forgot.
He
They're just like,
sings "Fly Me
oh.
to the Moon" and the enemy fucking dies because they get
Yeah.
DMCA claimed.
Hey, Ariana Grande is already canon to Final Fantasy, so
Oh my god.
Yeah. She made a song for him. Oh, for Final Fantasy.
she has fought Sephiroth and won.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's-
Okay. Basically every emo song ever, basically.
Don't say that to Cam.
Apparently Cam was not expecting me to reference Limp Bizkit yesterday.
Oh god, you mean Limp Bizkit?
No, so sad that they changed it to Limp Bizkit.
All right.
I was to explain, I was playing what was it, Lonesome Village, and because there's a roll and it's just like basically Fetch Quest the video game. I was just rolling and Cam was just broken by the fact that I knew that song.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's It's just the forest path. It's just sitting here, threateningly. Somehow
You
this...
dare walk down the path. Sorry.
You're fine. Somehow this seemingly innocuous patch of trees is even more ominous during the day. Artie. Dev whispers loudly into the trees, holding Cameron's paw as they descend into the ditch and over onto the forest side. They only take a few steps onto the trees before Artie calls back.
Yo, just taking a whiz. Where you guys wouldn't want me staring.
Dude, shut up. Dev continues to shout whisper.
What's up?
Devin can see movement from Artie now, some of the bushes about 10 feet ahead of them shifting. This is where that shotgun hick yelled at us.
Oh, well, I'm almost done anyway.
Dev sighs, then notices Cameron with his ears low, looking anxious. You alright, baby?
You hear like radio static?
Oh god,
It's really loud.
the fucking hum is back. Dev listens, but only hears some wind through the trees. I think it's just the leaves, honey. But then there is something. Maybe that could be described as static? Actually... Jesus! He jumps as his phone's notification sound goes off. Well, I definitely heard that. I do think it's just the wind, but I'm hearing it too. He takes his phone out, seeing that an email managed to get through. Cottage Inn reservations. Important booking information. Due to the ongoing public health emergency, all reservations have been cancelled. We sincerely apologize. Oh, that's right. This takes place right during the COVID pandemic.
Right at the start.
March of 2020.
Great. The notification banner cuts off there, and the surreal message makes Devin feel like they're isolated from the world now more than ever. He wonders if he should try to call the police, even though he still only has one bar. At this point, he'd be willing to just let the authorities know that they're stranded before anything else can happen. Then something out of the corner of his eye catches his attention. Looks like a wall of a structure of some kind, beige and peeling hard to see through all the leaves and branches. Devin holds up his paw in front of Cameron, signaling for him to stay put before taking a few cautious steps further into the forest. He thinks it's a trailer, one that looks so run down that he wouldn't be surprised if it's abandoned. What unsettles him is that it's buried so deep behind the trees. It's like it's meant to be hidden. You can try to make a call further down the road, away from whatever that is.
I'm here. No need to check on me.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna try to make a call on the road, but we're going straight. The look on Artie's face makes the bear pause. What?
What the fuck?
His voice is quiet, but his tone is one of confusion and shock, staring over Dev's shoulder. Devin feels dread creep over him, not sure how something else could be happening right now, something so terrible that Artie has that look. Yay! Cameron stands where he left him. Oddly enough, he doesn't even seem to be paying attention to them. He's staring up towards the trees, and Devin can see his eyes darting from left to right. His ears are laying back and twitching like he's hearing something that's too loud. His breathing is heavy, and Devin can see his chest heaving. He's panicking again, but the reason for it is clear. But a single second is all Devin has to see it, and to hear it. Then it drops onto Cam. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Oh my...
Okay, and then it drops onto Cameron. Cameron is suffocating. Just moments ago, he'd been gasping for breath, feeling the invisible dread creep up his back, the deafening static growing in his ears. But now it's completely black, and something has its limbs around him, fingers over his mouth and nostrils. He thrashes around, or at least he tries to. He goes through the motions, but there's no sensation of movement. A straining inhale of air drones right next to his ear, the thing pressing its head to the side of his face. Cameron begs it to let go, tries to call for help. Devin was in front of him only seconds ago. Or minutes? The voice in his head returns.
Or hours. Or has it been years? It doesn't matter when you're dead.
Cameron does think that he's died and that he's in hell, because of course he'd end up there.
There is no hell, only death. That's what happens to everyone, Cameron.
Cameron realizes then that it's not the thing holding onto him that's speaking to him, because now is when it starts to speak, but it's not a voice he expects.
No. Get away!
A woman's voice.
Oh.
Whoa!
Whoa! Hey, they're Australian.
Oh my.
Hey, what guys?
Hey, you're allowed to say it if you say it in an Australian accent.
Oh my god, Mark.
Okay. Who is this?
And then none of us say it.
Yeah,
All right, fine. If I'm gonna fucking, if none of you will say it, Macho Man Randy fucking Savage is saying it.
Oh my.
Oh my
fucking
god.
Fuck you. No, you're not. It's a fucking woman.
No, this is definitely. Look at the previous line.
No, get away. And then it's a call and response.
Yeah, this is clearly a different person. This is Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh my god.
Stupid fucking cunt, cheating whore. A man's voice, a sickening thud. The tone of the static changes, and Cameron knows he's listening to something different, a different moment.
He's dead! You can stop now!
No.
Nah, he's still twitching.
And it continues. What sounds like someone screaming through a gag. A woman sobbing, a man begging. But then there's a shift, and though some of the voices were women, they become exclusively young men, almost exclusively young men.
If you won't tell anyone, if you let me go, I won't tell anyone, I swear to God!
No me mates, por favor.
Stop, just stop!
And the voices blend together and go on and on and on. Meanwhile, Cameron goes limp, giving up, feeling as one with the voice that comes next.
Why don't you just kill me?
Devin watches as Cameron's body just goes limp, and though he tries to leap forward and catch him, the coyote slips to the ground at his feet. The bear instantly picks him up, or tries to. Though it's something he'd done so many times before, he'd never done it while Cameron was so completely lifeless, and he struggles with the coyote's dead weight. Cameron! Cameron! He lays the coyote out on his back, hoping he just wakes up.
What the fuck was that? Dude, what the hell was that thing?
Whatever it was just seemed to absorb into Cameron, disappearing in an instant. Devin doesn't care. 2 days ago, he would have thought he'd give almost anything to see something like that. Now it doesn't seem to matter at all. Cameron's chest that had been heaving seconds ago isn't moving at all now. Fuck. Artie, he's not breathing, man. What do we do?
Holy shit. Maybe chest compressions. Right?
The panic is threatening to overwhelm the bear, his peripheral vision dimming, going dark, and he has to rest a paw next to Cameron's head to steady himself. He can't pass out now, otherwise Cameron would only have Artie to help him, and the cat is seemingly frozen, his fingers twisting into his head fur.
Why is this even happening? Why would he just stop breathing?
Devin tries to tilt Cameron's head back, straighten his torso so he can breathe. Come on! Breathe, Cam! Just breathe, please! Devin rubs at Cameron's chest. It's such a desperate, useless gesture. Do you know how to do CPR?
No!
Dev readies himself, wishing he could remember a single useful thing from the one day he learned about CPR in high school. All he remembers is tittering with his classmates about the female mannequin's chest and how they had to touch it. His vision blurs as he uselessly places his paws one over the other on Cameron's chest, and then a droning, ragged wheeze comes from the coyote's mouth. Oh my god, Cam? Another labored wheeze.
He's breathing. He's breathing, right?
That's right, Kim. Keep going, baby. He is, but it's still strained, like something heavy is on his chest. Not sure what else to do, Devin pulls Cameron into a sitting position, leaning the coyote against his body, and Cameron gasps. Oh, thank fucking God. Just keep breathing like that, honey.
Yes,
Even Artie is crying, wiping his eyes as he laughs.
but what just attacked him? You saw that thing, right? Or am I crazy?
Devin shakes his head. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Now Devin just needs Cameron to regain consciousness so he knows he's okay for sure. Never had he seen evidence of or believed that the supernatural could physically harm the living.
Let's get out of this forest, dude, in case it comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, alright. He's very careful with how he moves Cameron, terrified that his breathing might stop again. But as he stands, cradling Cameron in his arms, he looks up. Standing 20 feet away toward that trailer is another bear. He's holding a shotgun. Devin stares, feeling himself become oddly detached from the situation. His mind is still overwhelmed with what he just happened to Cameron. Welcome on in, Harold. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Also, before we see other bear, mind the pinned message. That's what he wants to focus on, but the shotgun has his attention now, and for just a moment, Devin thinks about just running. If he applies logic to the situation, he assumes the other bear won't shoot, but something in his eyes, something is off. So Devin says what he hopes will make clear to this other bear that they're not a threat. We need help. We're stranded and our friend is unconscious. The old-looking bear focuses on him for several seconds. Devin hears the rustling of dead leaves in the foliage next to him as Arturo moves. Suddenly, the bear swings a shotgun around to point at Devin's right.
Don't you move, boy. Hey, hey, I'm sorry. Don't shoot.
Arturo sounds terrified, his voice strained and high-pitched. The old bear stares at Artie for several seconds before pointing the shotgun down toward the ground, but only slightly. The bear gestures at the coyote.
You doing something to him?
Oh, sorry about that. What? Doing something? No, we're trying to help him. Something attacked him. We need to get him help. The older bear grimaces.
What do you mean, something?
Dev hesitates, at least until the gun is shifted in his direction. No, wait!
I'm not waiting. You show up on my property making all kinds of noises, and you're standing there with a knocked out yote. Hey, we didn't do anything to him. We're just trying to help.
The bear growls.
I don't care if you... Oh my god, sorry, wait. My chest.
Nope.
I don't care if you're trying to help him or trying to fuck him. I want to know the truth, not that something happened.
The standoff continues for a few more seconds before Dev jumps in again. It was something dark, like a shadow. I called it something because I didn't get a chance to see it, but it jumped on him and disappeared. Devin realizes what he's saying as he's saying it, and half expects to be shot for saying something so stupid. I swear to God that's what happened. The old bear's eyes flick to Artie, and the cat quickly throws his support behind the ridiculous statement.
Yeah, that's what happened. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it was there. It was dark and had red eyes or some shit. I don't even know. I don't even think we should be out here right now.
Devin once again wants to tell Artie to shut up, that saying more is only going to make the situation worse. But instead of getting angry again, an odd expression comes over the other bear's face, one that Devin can't quite decipher. Then he finally speaks, casually bringing the shotgun up to rest over his shoulder.
And it jumped on him. That yote there?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I'm guessing y'all are on some drugs or some shit.
No.
Using out in the heat ain't... oh, God. Using out in the heat ain't ever a smart idea.
We weren't. Devin trails off, realizing that doesn't matter at all right now. We need to get him help. He's not waking up. Devin kneels, resting Cameron on the ground as he half props him up, needing to rest his tiring arms. There's a pause in which this other bear just stares down at them, a pause that's long enough that Dev opens his mouth to speak again. That's finally when the older bear seems to break out of his trance.
Yeah, of course. Sorry about the gun and all. It's just that I always get a bunch of coots on my property every now and then.
Devin looks up at the suddenly friendly bear. In the back of his mind, he thinks he can almost hear sirens. Very familiar sirens.
Shit's not even loaded.
The bear grunts as he brings the shotgun forward, pointing it back toward the ground before it seems to break in half as the stock suddenly drops down. The bear turns to show them that the barrels are empty. That actually does make Devin feel a bit better, even if the gun had been pointed at them just minutes ago. The bear then closes it with a snap.
So, I think your best bet is to call the proper authorities so they can get you some help out here.
Do you know how we can do that? There's no services here.
Of course there ain't. But there is service just outside of town, to the east. Works whenever I go out there to make a call.
Dev's heart leaps in his chest at the idea that he might actually be a quick way out of this situation. He looks in an eastward direction, ready to set off immediately.
Hold on. It's a little ways out there, and it's a pretty specific spot. I can give you a quick ride, no more than 5 minutes.
The old bear turns away and starts making his way toward the trailer. Artie glances at him, clearly uneasy about all of this. Dev is hesitant himself, because of course he would be. Anyone would be. Think of the pets, Aaron. Let's welcome on Tails. Glad to have you here. But after everything they've been through, Dev looks down at Cameron, the coyote still breathing steadily, now looking almost peaceful. Still, fear grips the bear's chest. The fact that Cameron still isn't waking up is slowly increasing his worry to the point of panic again. So he sets his jaw and follows the older bear. He half expects Artie not to follow, but he does, and the four of them disappear further into the trees. Cameron's agony had seemed as if it might last forever, the feeling of suffocation going on and on. After an immeasurable amount of time, the fingers over his mouth and nostrils had dissolved into the blackness. So did the voices, diminished into indistinguishable whispers. Now his breaths come slow and steady, but he has to focus on them, to consciously inhale and exhale so that it won't stop. While the experience is terrifying, the laborious nature of it almost ensures that he won't hyperventilate. After a time, the terror fades into a dull, hollow desperation, accompanied by spurts of panic each time he remembers he's somewhere he doesn't understand, and he can't seem to escape it. Then, gradually, even that dissolves, and like a dream within a dream, it fades away. Cameron's vision is blurry at first, and it stays that way as his eyes remain mostly closed, unfocused. Fear hitches in his chest again before he realizes that he'd been breathing normally without the need to focus on it. That's when he notices that what he can see is a bit odd. Looks kind of like himself. Cameron stares, still feeling groggy and out of it, trying to make sense of what he's seeing. It's him, his reflection, but it's hard to understand why that's the case because it feels like he's lying down. At first, the coyote wonders if maybe this is the floor mirror in their bathroom and that he'd passed out. Still, the angle is wrong, and that just leaves Karen feeling more confused. The coyote closes his eyes again, trying to remember what happened last. He also begins to wonder why he's laying on something soft instead of the cold tile of the bathroom. Nothing makes sense. So he does the only thing he can think of to do at this moment.
Nev.
He hears something shift around next to him. Cameron tries to clear his throat, but it's bone dry, so he swallows instead.
Nev.
Oh, welcome on in, Raiders. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Juichi, for bringing on the family over. You've joined a stream. You've joined emotional trauma stream. Everyone mind the pinned message. Yeah, well, come on in, everyone. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm Starking Morph, Big Gay Curly Internet, variety streamer, live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. EST. Let me know how your stream went. Playing Persona 5 Royale. How'd that go? Glad to have you all here. Also gotta do the my stream in a nutshell. That car crash. That's welcome to the car crash. The stream in a nutshell is always a car crash. But yeah, welcome on in. Glad to have you here. For those who do not know, I'm Stark Morph, Big Gay Curly Internet, variety streamer, live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. EST. I play mostly indie games. However, I'm also expanding to Nintendo VR from softwares, whatever games happen to interest me at this time. It is Tuesday, which means that we are joined, as always, by the ever amazing Marsh, and today as well by Chill Pains. And we are reading Emotional Trauma, the visual novel.
Emotional. Buddy.
Hence the pinned message being there for a very good reason. Oh, I'm sorry. Is the physical trauma? Will the physical trauma be coming soon?
Brian is here.
You know what? That's fair enough. Also, if you would like to go give my co-host Marshmallow Bears a follow, very, very sweet bean, very laid back, pleasant content. Yep. I don't like the fact that Cam awakes to being on this fucking cot table. I don't know. I also don't like the fact that we can't see his fucking wrists. Oh wait, no, we actually can. So it looks like he isn't currently strapped down to this table for legitimate actual torture. But yeah, we're gonna get back into it. Oh, this is much nicer than it was in Echo. What the fuck? Something is pressed to his lips, and sensing that it's water, Cameron drinks, getting several swallows before it's pulled away. Cameron then looks around, getting a full view of his surroundings. The voice hadn't sounded like Dev's, but Cameron can't imagine whose else it could be, and a large furry brown shape moves into view. Cameron stares at first, wondering what could have possibly happened to Dev. But then he realizes what a stupid thought that is. This is a different bear altogether. He also realizes that something is definitely wrong, that either he's still dreaming or that he's in a situation he can't even begin to understand. He quickly sits up and the old bear raises up a paw.
Hey, it's alright, kid. I'm here to help you.
The voice is higher pitched than he would have expected from such a large creature, and the coyote feels like he's heard it before, but he can't quite place it, not right now at least.
I'm Brian. What about you?
Cameron.
Cameron responds automatically, even though a smaller voice in the back of his head tells him that this isn't right. None of this is right.
Well, hi there, Cameron. You're probably wondering where the hell you are, huh?
While the bear's demeanor is friendly enough, his appearance definitely isn't. Again, Cameron desperately tries to remember exactly what happened and where exactly he might be. He nods anyway, instinctively trying to keep up that facade that he's fine and that he doesn't suspect that everything is wrong.
Well, it's a funny story, but I heard some shouting outside, and when I was out there, I found you and your friends. You were unconscious, of course.
Dev. Was he a bear?
Cameron looks around, hopefully, as if Dev might be there with them. It's only then that he realizes they're in a trailer and that fragments of what happened recently start to come back to him. It leaves him feeling all the more uneasy.
Get one quick second. I'm gonna put a pause. I need to go do something real fast.
Okay.
I just got a message from my roommate. I have to 1 second.
All right. Let's see. Look at those floor dusters. Anxious? Anxious is the right word. Something's about to fucking. This bear is looking and they were roommates. Oh my god.
Oh god, yeah, I was expecting these comments.
To be fair, the floor duster comment is pretty funny. He's got some huge boobs. Wait, no, I got this. Hold up a moment. I could just quickly pull up that audio.
Here we go.
I got this new anime plot. Basically,
I'm
there's
back,
this high
sorry.
school girl, except she's got huge boobs. I mean, some serious hunkers.
I'm
A real setup of donkers.
Packets of Doban Hunkeros.
Massive
This is the Hunka Bankaloos.
Big old
You
ton
Hunger
You can get
Cougars.
back in
What
time,
happens
Marsh.
next? Transfer
The
student
student shows up with
What?
even bigger Bon Hanukkah hooves. Humongous Hanukkah Gangas. There we go.
Chucky's talking about Brian's tits.
Someone said, "Damn, look at those floor dusters." And when I don't have something immediately to talk about, I just read chat, and it was a mistake. Those are in fact moves, as opposed to pecs. I'm more partial to pecs than moves, I'll be honest.
Can we stop looking up Brian? Like, come on, guys.
What do you, Marsh? You've told me what this fucking entire visual novel is about. No, we can't stop looking at Brian. This is the rest of the fucking game.
I said
Not
looking
wrong.
up Brian, not looking at him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, there was. Oh my gosh. I need water. Doing this voice hurts. Yeah, a bear like myself, and there's a cat too.
At least Brian seems in better shape physically, I guess. At least he doesn't have all those sores. Yeah, he lost all of his herpes sores, whatever the fuck those were.
It's
Those
how
are
they
just on his
confirmed that
Wife beater.
how they confirmed that so this isn't really like a spoiler. It was confirmed like before Arches even started that Brian quit meth
Oh shit.
in between Arches and Echo.
Okay. This still leaves me very like, what is... Because I'm also like...
Reading. Just keep reading.
Yeah, just reading.
Just read.
One of my thoughts already
Just read.
is...
Chucky,
I'll
Chucky,
grab...
Chucky,
All right.
just read. Chucky,
No.
just read.
No theory
Chucky,
crafting. Just read.
Just stop thinking and read.
Why am I so bullied?
Because you're
Just
a
read.
streamer.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh, Greeny people, thank you for the follow-up. I'm glad, chat. I really appreciate it. Is this the Greeny Peak I'm thinking of? No, I'm thinking of it's a different... Is it? I can't remember. I'm losing my mind. Sorry about that. Too easy of a target. Oh, it is. Welcome on, Greeny Peak. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna give a shout out for Greeny. Go follow them. Artists draws the big boys. Panda friend. Very, very thirsty.
Oh my god.
Listen, I was there for the Greeny stream where he drew Goose Scoot and it almost went full yandere with it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, welcome on in. And also mind the pin message. Shit's about to get horrifying. Don't judge my Goose Scoot shrine. The memories of the past day and a half come back to the coyote slowly, and with it comes a feeling of anxiety and dread. Either he's in trouble, or he was in trouble, and somehow this bear is here trying to help him.
Well, I didn't get his name. He ran off just as I was getting there.
Where's the bear? I mean, is he here?
Yeah, about that.
The bear shifts around on the bed he's sitting on, making the spring squeak.
What happened is, after the cat ran off, you were just unconscious. Your bear friend, Devin, right? He decided to make a run for the highway to get you help.
Cameron stays quiet as he tries to absorb that. Bear sentences make sense technically, but at the same time it's confusing. Why would Devin leave him alone here with this bear? Now Cameron remembers that they were on a trip of some kind, a trip to Echo. The voice, the trailer. Cameron starts looking around again, trying to spot a shotgun, because now he's starting to realize who this might be.
I know.
He comes up short at a complete loss. What he wants to say is that he wants to see Dev, but if what the bear said is true, then that won't be possible.
Does Devin know I'm here?
See, of course he does. Seems real worried about you. Said he would have Said he would have had the cat get to help, but we're not even sure where he ran off to.
Why'd he run?
Well,
Brian pauses, seeming to think back and almost seeming to hesitate to say something.
I'm
Cameron-
feeling so bad. Sorry.
You're fine. You're doing all right. Cameron tenses up, the feeling of wrongness returning. I will say, the thing with voice acting is just having fun, like having fun with it, and having confidence in it. Because I'm sure my first few times doing silly voices on stream was just very it wasn't as fun. Like it was probably just a lot more like restrained, and like I wasn't actually enjoying it because I was just doing it out of like almost obligation. But it's at some point it clicks in and it's like, oh wait, this is actually just fun. Silly voices are fun.
I would say another thing, but I think I can't mention it right now because it's a spoiler.
Brian has the personality of the Twitch smile. He really does. At least here. In Echo, he's much more directly murderous. In Echo, Brian has the personality of the Twitch smile, but the Twitch smile has a fucking gun pointed directly at your skull. Cameron tenses up, the feeling of wrongness returning.
To explain, but something spooked him.
Recalling the events of the past few days seeming to gain momentum, and now he can vaguely remember what happened just before he ended up here. He was standing in the forest, ears down, hearing that awful static, but what exactly happened after that is still a bit foggy.
What was it?
Well, this might sound a bit crazy, but I've lived here a good while, and sometimes there's this thing in the trees that comes after me.
Thing? Is those games one timeline or different timelines? Echo they're all different timelines, and this is a different timeline we didn't even see in Echo, if what's being reported is correct.
Everything's canon, but nothing is canon.
Basically. There's continuity but not canonicity, basically.
So this universe, Chase and the gang did go to Echo. They did some stuff, and the hysteria happened, and they got out. But we don't exactly know what all they did. Just that it did happen.
Yeah. And so that's basically what we're operating it with. Chase and Leo were definitely here. The hysteria happened. And Brian, so because we know for a fact it's not, is it Jenna's route where Brian fucking dies?
And Flynn's.
Oh, that's right. To be fair, in Flynn's route, you have a choice of who you kill. I just chose Brian.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I feel like this for some reason, I feel like this is either the end of PJ's or the end of Leo's that Arches follows.
do you notice something about Brian that wasn't there in Echo though?
Yeah.
He's got like a piece of his ear missing.
And
The scar was there before.
it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No.
I thought for sure the scar was there.
That's new.
Okay, let me hold up one moment. Not that I don't believe you, it's just I need to relook. Echo
Not that I believe
Brian.
you, but I don't fucking believe you.
Images.
In Jenna's route, he got blitzed by the socket monster.
Oh
right?
my god. Not yassified. Hold up. No, I need to show everyone yassified Brian real quick.
What the hell are you talking about?
Okay. Random videos, stream stuff. save it in random bullshit go real quick. Random bullshit go. You got yassified Brian. I'm looking
No,
at.
actually, no, he did.
No,
He
you're
did die in Leo's
you
route.
are right. He does not have the chest scar. It feels. Well, to be fair, it's also kind of hiding behind his, like, tank top. It's like exactly where his tank top would be is where the scar is. I don't know if there's a shirtless version of him in Echo.
No, it's always with the wife beater.
So he might still have the. So you might have the scar. And it's also like the kind of thing that could reasonably have happened in any timeline he didn't die in the hysteria. Okay, images. Wait, no, okay.
So after remembering that technically Brian gets attacked at the end. Well, no.
This is so I looked up Brian
actually, no,
Echo, and this is what I found. It's yassified
Oh
Brian.
yeah, that's
Oh, this, yeah.
that artist did a
Normal
series
Brian.
of pictures of Brian of characters in Echo without their addictions and that, and Brian
Aw.
loses all character design without.
He
It's
really
literally just
does.
a brown bear. It's literally just a brown bear.
He kind of does.
It's very boring.
It definitely, these two pictures next to each other definitely looks like a Faces of Meth advertisement, though. Meth, not even once. But also, I felt the need to show off yassified Brian because I looked up Brian Echo and that was the third result. It looks nice but generic. Yeah, exactly.
Marsh,
What?
is it possible that in Leo's route, Brian survived the attack against the Socket Man? Do you think it's possible?
Wait. Was that
'Cause
Leo's
remember in
route?
Leo, yeah, because it was Leo's route, because that was when Chase got kidnapped again
Yeah,
by
it's
Brian.
never
Got
confirmed
sent
that.
to the
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's never confirmed that Brian died in either Jenna or Leo's route.
Yeah, so that kind of just
Jenna's
helps
route, it is kind of confirmed because
Yeah.
what happened was the Socket Man did pick up Leo and he banged him off of the floor and the ceiling and then threw him out the window. So
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it might result in a scar.
I feel like it would result in substantially more than just a fucking scar being thrown out a window at Mach 5.
But you gotta remember, he is bulletproof.
And also
He
remember,
is.
this is years after the events of Echo.
Yeah,
'Cause that-
this is
that
5
shit
years.
could've-
So this is a huge fuck off scar. My man got his entire body sliced up. Looking like my man looks like a pinhead from Hellraiser. If this is the goddamn scar that Dirk. Oh my god.
And at least Dirk's
Yeah, at least
Dirk's,
Dirk knows.
Dirk
Dirk's-
knows.
Dirk's audience would know.
Dirk's
Also, Dirk's audience, no spoilers.
no spoilers. This is my
Yeah.
first time playing through. We've met Problem Bear. Just welcome on in, everyone. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, though. Glad to have you here. Welcome on in. Glad to have you. I'm Stark Morph, big currently a variety streamer, live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. EST. Hold up one moment, I show you my streamer in a nutshell. You see that car crash? That's my streamer in a nutshell. Glad to have you here. Really appreciate it. I'm a variety streamer. I play sorry, I got turned off. Off my variety streamer, play mostly indie games. However, I'm expanding to Nintendo VR from software as well as whatever games happen to interest me at the time.
Blythe!
Welcome on in.
Blythe! Hey, Blythe!
Welcome on in, Blythe. Blythe.
Blythe's also a big
Voice actor.
visual novel reader.
Ooh,
Yeah, and voice actor.
nice.
Hey, Blythe.
Welcome on in. Glad to have you here.
Why'd you say that in such a sultry voice, Marsh? Okay.
Almost
Hey,
done.
Blythe.
Visual novel reader. They read visual novels. Not those kinds of visual novels.
Yes, that's how you get all the. I'm not gonna start talking.
It's all you get all of the e-boys. Welcome on in, King. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Also, let me go and give a shout out to Dirk the Red Panda. Thank you for bringing your family over. I really appreciate it. I remember you were playing American Truck Simulator. How'd that go?
Well, you see, we took the truck and then we flipped it over and it kind of blew up.
Oh, it's no longer Dirk the Red Panda. It's just Dirk the Panda.
Yep. They panda.
And so you
Oh,
said
they switched species.
Yeah.
I thought they were I thought they were still a red panda. It's just they had the secondary panda form. But yeah, welcome on in, everyone. Thank you for being here, Bershik. I had a stroke. Don't mind that.
Starkey. Are you good?
No. But
Oh,
that's not
yeah.
meaningfully changed in the last 6 months, so. But yeah, welcome on in. Glad to have you all here. I really appreciate it. For those of you who are unaware, we're playing Arches. Every Tuesday, I hang out with Marsh, and we play visual novels, and we're playing Arches. And I'm assuming if you're coming from Dirk's stream, you're already aware of Arches.
Pedigree.
Yeah, pedigree. Welcome on in. Yeah, glad to have
Hey,
you here.
Hi, yo.
But this game's fucked. Probably won't stick around to some a few updates behind on Arches. Yeah, we're kind of catching up pretty fast. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, Dallas.
hello. I love Tuesday, isn't it? Oh, it's Tuesday.
Starkey.
What?
Visual novel.
No.
Okay.
Starkey's just avoiding the imminent pain, aren't they?
Some
I know.
fucked up shit's about to happen. I'm not ready for it. I don't like it. I like Brian. I like Earl. I don't like Brian. I like Devin and Cam too much. They're sweet beans. They don't deserve to be fucking whatever the fuck Brian's got planned for them. Starkey missed the joke. I did. Was that a Vor joke? Dallas, were you being Vorny? Anyways, we don't deserve to be Brian. Exactly. But yeah, so Cam just woke up after getting attacked by a Shadow, whatever the fuck, Shadow the Hedgehog. And he find himself alone in a
Did you like the allusion to Echo
wait.
when Cam woke up?
Oh, you mean
God, Starkey.
you mean this
Okay.
fucking scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It's my favorite.
It's so like it's like if you haven't read Echo, it's just like why is there a mirror on the ceiling?
Damn.
But if you know what's up, you're like, oh shit.
My
Oh
favorite.
shit.
Just like
It's a
panic.
good fake out. It's a really good fake out.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm expecting. I'll be honest.
Well, keep reading and find out.
Well,
Yeah, read. Read.
I have
Starkey,
theories.
Starkey, keep reading.
Starkey, stop being a bitch and read.
Fine. Ah!
Starkey,
What an odd thing to say. But then he remembers something strange right before he lost consciousness. A dark shadow dropping on top of him before he disappeared into another world, locked in that terrible embrace.
a shadow.
Although he says it softly, the bear clearly hears him. Cameron swallows hard, still feeling like this situation is very off, even when considering the circumstances. But Brian smiles in a way that's almost sympathetic.
It happened to sound like static, white noise.
Cameron looks at the bear carefully before he nods.
Yep. I've seen it myself. Some of us can just see things that others can't.
Cameron swallows loudly.
You see things too?
Yeah, always could. Don't know why.
Through all the confusion and terror, and of all the people, this bear seems to understand that Cameron is going through somehow. It creates in him a sudden sense of kinship with the bear. What is going on in chat? Oh, they're
What?
seeing things. God damn it.
Seeing what?
They're getting hypnoed.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Then Cameron remembers his phone, quickly pulling it out and holding down the power button. The screen flickers on for just a moment before multiple vertical lines of black appear on the screen, which widen steadily before the entire display goes black. Cameron is confused, then remembers the fall into the lake, and he even sees some moisture still under the screen. Cameron. Wait, that happened so long ago. Wasn't the entire point? Wait.
What are you talking about? That was earlier today.
Yeah.
When Cam fell into the lake?
That was that morning.
Yeah. Remember when
Because
Cam
Artie
would
showed
take
up
off
right
their-
after that.
Cam
Okay.
would take off their clothes, they had to dry them off.
Now I remember.
Artie was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Hope not.
Because I remember another plot point being that Cameron wasn't using his phone because they wanted to save a phone.
Yeah,
And I couldn't
that
remember
was
the
the
order
night-
of events. Yeah, that
that
was
was the night
to
before.
that was to bring Artie
then.
in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I remember now. Steaky's Turkey is making this so much more tense than it already is. Welcome on in, Garbo. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Welcome on in, Lazy Waffles. Glad to have you here.
Shit.
Brian grunts.
Your phone's busted? Shame. No service out here anyway.
How long ago did he leave?
About 2-3 hours ago.
He's been unconscious that long. Still, the anxiety is telling Cameron to move on. Thank you for the hydrate, by the way. And yeah, we are playing Arches. So everyone mind the pinned message.
Also, no spoilers.
Please no.
Yeah, this is my first time reading through.
Marsh.
Wait, oh shit. I think I should go after him. Thanks for your help, though.
Welcome on, Alexis is in you. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Cameron suddenly stands, but a wave of dizziness comes over him.
No, fuck!
The coyote catches himself against the wall, feeling weak and confused.
Whoa there, kid. I don't think you're in the best position to go out there. You might pass out again, and that bear seemed real intent on me keeping you safe.
Cameron has to lean against the wall slightly, catching his breath. He didn't realize that he's still messed up. It would make sense since he'd been out for so long. It's just odd that it seems to be getting worse. Whatever that creature did to him, it feels serious. As if reading his thoughts, the bear brings up the entity.
Besides, I don't think you should go out there while that shadow creature is still hanging around. I'm sorry. I know. I was thinking the same. I love this fucking expression on Brian so much.
I love Pain Fox's style. Pain Fox draws such strong expressions, and this is the most like, the fucking shadow underneath again. God damn it!
I want a lot of Brian's emotions. I'm just a lot of Brian's sprites. I'm like, God, that's a mood.
Different day, same shit. Fucking Becky, the shadow creature's out there again. God damn it.
God damn it.
Kevin, go get your gun.
Kevin.
I'm being silenced. Oh no. Oh shit, here we go again. Can't press the buttons. Yeah, it's because this is like a, you know, this is a read through stream. I turn off the chaos redeems for when we're reading a story.
Been seeing it through the window a few times. Don't want to scare you, but I think it wants you.
Hold up, I got audio for this.
Oh no.
No.
What are you doing?
You just got done saying you turned off the Chaos Redeems.
I
And then
know.
here you go.
Now you're about to make it chaotic.
Oh fuck! I can't find just the audio
Use it.
clip, but it's just the
See
Boondocks
it.
clips of Alexia and I wants ya.
Oh,
Hand over the
no,
balloon.
no, not that. Anything but that.
Please, not the audio from that cartoon. Taylor, did you have the
Chill.
exact same thought I did?
Chill. You're the authority on this. Is Starkey even allowed to reference that?
That's a good question. Also, there's definitely a line there.
There's a wait. I don't know what the rest of the line is.
We're not going to talk about it.
Okay.
Don't say it. I'm just saying that.
That's
Don't
fair.
say it.
Yeah, also that.
Listen, there's an entire episode that it's centered around a
Starkey,
specific type
Starkey.
of moment that I can't talk about.
I know that moment, but I know the rest of that line. And I don't want you saying it.
That's fair. I actually don't remember what the rest of the line is. I just remember the I likes
Good.
you and I wants you.
Okay, stop there. Starkey, you know it's
That's
bad
fair.
if you know it.
It's bad if Delos knows it.
Yeah.
Cameron glances up at the window nearest to them. Instead of the shadow, he's surprised to see Raincoat Monster just beyond the trees, partially hidden in a strange crouching position. Stranger still are the odd shivering twitching motions the creature is making. Though its face is mostly hidden, Cameron can tell he's being looked at. Even after everything he's been through, the coyote finds himself lowering his gaze quickly.
The rats.
Now, I likes you, and I wants you. We can do
Oh,
this the easy
there it
way,
is.
or
That-
the hard.
that's-
The
now I
choice
remember
is
it.
yours, Tilda.
There's a reason I referenced that. It's because it's incredibly relevant. And soon to be very much more relevant. Once again, just like when he was 8 years old, he's afraid of this hallucination. Or rather, he's afraid of this imitation of the hallucination, and considering that it's moving so violently, that's what this is.
You see it?
No. I mean, it's something else.
Oh. Is it?
Discord had a moment there.
What is it? Yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
Sometimes I see other really disturbing things in the woods. Well, most places in this town, actually.
It's
Brian came out here with the actual truth. Sorry.
it's something more personal.
Chris Handsome is the Raincoat
Someone time-
Monster.
If there's a mod in chat, can you please time out King the Bear Spirit, please? Please,
I got
like
you,
a good
Jill.
minute. For like a good minute.
There we go.
Thank
69
you.
seconds.
After that, no.
Cameron is caught between wanting to stay cautious of this man, but also wanting to confide in him. After the trauma of the past 2 days, combined with feeling almost abandoned by his boyfriend, the coyote is desperate for some kind of connection.
What kind of things do you see?
Brian looks hesitant.
Come on, Mike. I don't want to freak you out more than you already are.
I'm okay. I'm just wondering if maybe we see similar things.
Cameron smiles at him, and that seems to throw the bear off for some reason.
Huh. Well,
Then he seems to snap out of it.
to be honest, I see people getting killed, usually.
It's all good, cats. If you got to take tonight off, especially since you're probably modding for Papa, and I'm sure that's going disastrously. So if you need to hop out, I appreciate it. I just think Dev would abandon him after all the years they've been together.
Didn't the stream end?
Is it? No,
No, it's still going.
it's
I
yeah.
thought they ended at 7 now.
No, he
We're
started.
baking a
He,
cake.
he started at 5.
Oh. Oh, okay. Never mind, I was gonna go to like 9. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh.
Sure if it's real, like from the past, or if it isn't. Sometimes it feels like something being made up.
Cameron can understand that feeling.
Yeah,
Another wave of weakness and exhaustion.
sorry. I'm still really tired.
Cameron slides down the wall to sit again, still feeling out of it. But at least he can feel somewhat comfortable with his spare now.
Makes sense. After what you went through, you want my bed?
I'm good. I just need to catch my breath.
He's not quite that comfortable with him. You know, fair enough.
Whoa,
I had to reread what he said because my brain was like, did I this is
You thought he
Yeah.
offered to sleep with
I was
Cameron?
like,
Okay.
you could sleep in his bed. I'm sure it's not the best smelling bed in the entire universe, but he didn't offer to fucking sit like lay next to you. You're fine.
Yeah, but this is also just someone they met, so like
That's fair.
just met, so it's still
Then they're
weird. It's like,
connecting to, yeah. Even though even if they connected on like in a moment right now.
That's fair.
this is gonna sound weird too, but I see a ton of stuff in this town, and sometimes it just feels made up. Like I saw a UFO, like an alien spaceship above a body today.
Hold up
Oh,
a
no.
moment. I'm gonna need a second. I'm gonna need. Yeah, why?
I
Why?
knew that was gonna hurt, Starkey.
Why did you bring it up? Why?
Push through it, Starkey.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is how it all fucking
Going.
starts. I'm scared. I'm gonna click and Brian's face is gonna fucking turn into Socket Man. I swear to God. Yep. Nope. There it is. Brian stares at Cameron.
Let's see.
Just as he was beginning to feel comfortable, the coyote feels himself back on edge. Did he say something wrong?
I mean, I don't know if it was a UFO, but it looked.
Fine. You're fine, kid. Just that I haven't known anyone else that seen something that I've seen too. It was on that dirt road, right? Circular shape with a bunch of red lights on it.
Cameron perks up. There's a little question in his mind now that the bear's definitely like him.
Yeah, and like, shit. When did that space shuttle explode? Like in the mid '80s, I think.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
I
Challenger.
forgot that the Challenger explosion is a plot point in this visual novel. Cam, how white can you fucking get? He's just like me for real. Oh my god. Yeah, sorry. I probably should have brought that up as an example of like, hey, this vision novel's fucked. But yeah, the Challenger explosion is a literal plot point in this. This time,
Can I say a
Brian.
weird thing?
Yeah,
Can I say like a weird thing?
sure,
Just like it just sort of came into my brain for a sec.
sure.
Imagine if Brian was some other type of bear.
What do you mean?
Black bear,
Well, then he
Polar
wouldn't be as
bear,
threatening.
panda bear.
Are
Exactly.
you talking about?
No,
Fucking
but-
polar bears are even bigger than grizzly bears.
But
Well,
it'd
the
be out of
first
place.
example was black bear.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but black bear. But here's the thing: if it was black bear, would it make a stink? That's probably not a question to ask here. That's probably a thing to ask off stream.
Oh.
Would it cause a stink?
Oh, that's a good point. That is definitely something to think about off stream, but yeah.
Because Brian is definitely coated white.
Yes.
I think.
Southern,
What am
but
I-
like,
yeah, southern white, southern Caucasian.
Yeah, probably just a bit.
I don't get it.
Don't worry about it.
Delos, I'll tell you after stream. Message me afterwards. I'll tell you.
Oh, Delos found a way to sneak into those DMs, I see.
Starkey.
Sorry. This time, Brian lets out a little laugh of surprise and maybe a little disbelief as well.
86 to be exact. Damn, that's crazy. I've met a few people like you. You're on a whole new level, kid.
Cameron stares back, briefly wondering if he's still dreaming all of this. It's almost too jarring trying to understand how he ended up here with this bear, but if it is a dream, it's not the worst one.
can you help me find Evan? Maybe you could take me up the road to the highway and we could catch up to him.
The bear leans back, scratching his head.
I don't know about that kid. He took off at a good pace. I bet he's probably already reached the highway by now. Probably in the process of alerting the authorities.
Cameron twists the hem of his shirt in his paws, feeling a sickening, growing knot of worry in the pit of his stomach.
Damn it, the police.
No, the... Who did you call to help us in this situation? The police. No. I accidentally right-clicked.
I forgot you didn't save. You
Yes.
save over that one?
Over.
Okay.
Welcome on in, Cyrus. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Oh, maybe shout out to Cyrus. Remember, did King also get a shout out? I can't remember.
Don't you have mods?
Yes. In theory.
I
But
think
they keep
Chaos is here.
alternating between complaining at me for doing their job and not doing their job.
Chaos is here.
So don't-
Chaos, I think,
is
went to
here, and
lurk.
I think God said they're stepping out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, cats.
Yeah, okay. So I'm assuming based on that scream, King did not get a shout out. So let's fix that. But yeah, welcome on in. Glad to have you here. Mine's the pinned comment. This visual novel fucked. And
Taylor, shut the fuck up. Sorry.
it.
Sorry.
Basically, once shit hits the road, once shit hits the fan, we won't have time to warn you in advance. So just be wary, and if ever you need to step out, we get it. He just wants to go and run and find Dev and escape the town with him, but the threat of what's out there is very real, and Cameron does not want to repeat what happened out there in the forest. What were we gonna say, Jill?
This is mainly a question of Mars. Do you think we're gonna get to the fucked up shit this time?
Maybe. If Starkey fucking reads!
All right,
Yeah,
fine. Oh.
It's been
That's
20
long.
minutes, Starkey.
It's been 20.
It's what are you talking about? It's been an
Wake up.
hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, last time I checked the time, it was an hour and Cam was waking up. We've moved like 5 lines since then.
What are you talking about? Look at how much time. This has been a
Oh my
fucking
God,
unending
Starkey,
dialogue.
Starkey, this is the reason you keep going back.
And apparently Dev already escaped without him. It makes sense why he had to leave him behind, but that doesn't mean it just doesn't hurt. Only now the memories of what happened during his blackout returning, and only now does he remember how it felt being in hell.
Can that shadow creature get us in here?
It seems to avoid the trailer. Don't know why. You okay?
Cameron rubs his eyes with both paws.
I don't know.
His increasingly heavy breaths prompt Brian to crouch in front of him, patting his shoulder roughly.
Hey, you're fine. I'll make you something, okay? How does some tea sound? That always calms me down.
The pats jolt the coyote back to wakefulness, and he nods, if only to get the bear to focus on something other than him.
Okay.
Great. I'll get started on it then. Just relax for now. So I just want to say, literally, I kind of really do love that moment. Of
Well,
Brian just kind of like actually like putting
Actual
a hand
humanity.
on Cam, but not in a weird way, but in a nice way. Like, fuck.
The wind
Just
whipped.
makes things worse later.
Is that a spoiler?
No.
No,
Okay.
it's like Starkey, you know Brian.
Yeah.
That's not a spoiler.
The feng shui was just off.
That's why that scene is so good.
Please no, I imagine it's smelly. Oh my god.
The
God damn it.
wind whips violently in Devon's face. It's powerful enough that he can barely breathe. The ominous sound of the sirens were really the one thing that guaranteed he'd be home as soon as he possibly could. He always takes their warning seriously, because what they warned of always terrified him. So now, in this haze of pain and horror, he wonders why he didn't heed the warnings. The mile-wide tornadoes that rip across the plains of his home state evoke a primal fear in him that few other things do. He'd felt that fear moments before his world became a red flash of pain. Corey saw Artie crumple lifeless to the ground at the same time a pop echoed through the air. Corey was made to drink from the plastic bottle of water the other bear had brought out of his trailer, before his paws were tightly bound above his head. As Devin briefly comes to in the red glow of this metal container he's in, the sounds of metal chains and the feeling of cramped heat, he knows he should be doing something. He should be helping someone he cares deeply about. Lupita, Archie, Cameron. His voice is wry, rough, on the verge of breaking. His chest feels as if it's being crushed. Devin sinks back into the darkness, even while his mind roils in terror. Even as the F5 tornado continues to barrel right towards him. Well, Brian, why are you like this? Cameron sits at the table as the bear busies himself near the stovetop with his back to the coyote. Again, the coyote contemplates leaving, either by asking Brian again or just walking out the door. Another glance towards the window confirms Raincoat Monster is still out there, this time standing high in the trees, perched on a branch, still watching. Cameron quickly looks away again. He feels deep down that if he leaves, another terrible thing is going to happen. While he believes the bear's story about what happened, something about this trailer is extremely uncomfortable, making him even more anxious. He thinks that he must have something to do with his upbringing, the long, narrow space feeling familiar in the worst of ways. It's like suddenly falling ill and being reminded of all the awful feelings one has when they're especially sick. Meanwhile, Brian is chattering on about how chamomile is particularly effective when it comes to anxiety, and Cameron vaguely wonders why he's moving around so much if he's just making tea. Mostly, though, Cameron is trying to think clearly, get his thoughts to line up correctly through the fog as he still feels clouding his brain. It's making him extremely tired, and a couple of times the coyote is convinced that he's still dreaming. It's almost like he's high again, but without any of the positives of being high. His anxiety is already calming down, though, despite the worry that whatever was in the forest might have done some kind of damage to his brain. Sorry about that. My middle finger, right click finger, just activated on its own. He focuses his thoughts on Devin, trying to think clearly. Welcome on to Monkey. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Would the bear really leave him alone like this? He could have at least left him a message to let him know that this is what he wanted, that Cameron is safe in this situation. But Cameron also knows that he wouldn't have been all that wouldn't have been all that practical. If Devin was really in a hurry, which he definitely would have been, he would have left him behind if he knew it was for the best, and if he knew the situation was safe.
Devin was definitely in a hurry.
Oh, Papa's done. Let me check out this cake.
Think of the stretch and the drinking bird. Ooh.
Oh God.
How bad is it?
Starkey got,
Okay, I'm pulling it out.
The image is very blurry, but that's a very thin cake. That's a very thin cake.
Okay, I'm pulling it up.
Red and Prism are crying and screaming.
That is... Papa did not make a cake. That is a fuck... That was cornbread. That was not a cake.
That was cornbread. No, that was cake. That was... they made cake tasting brownies. That's what it looks like. It's like brownies.
Let's be real. The point at which he offered to both ham spray and then butter the fucking same pan, that cake was doomed. The cake didn't stand a chance.
How is Papa still living at this point?
Mari.
Basically, Mari.
No, but and then you have to wonder, how much is Mari doing? How much?
Pardon? Excuse me? Yeah. Papa did that. Papa ham sprayed the pan, and then he's like, oh, I could also just rub it with butter, and he did that. And then he put in like way too much butter, and they had to explain like, hey, you need to make sure you get the ingredients exact for cakes because baking is like very specific. and it turned into this full-on, like, 30-minute argument about butter, which involved Papa breaking his wine glass on the floor.
They ate the cake raw?
That's why there was a hole in the middle of it.
They better hope they don't get sick from that. Jesus.
I mean, it's probably fine. How's this man alive?
Some of the, I was like, some of those ingredients raw aren't good,
I mean, the
Mostly
major thing,
especially in a cake.
yeah, it's the flour specifically you have to be worried about. It's not actually
Yeah.
the egg.
Depends on the it honestly depends. It depends on how much egg.
Yeah. If you're getting
like,
like
what-
quality eggs, which you should be, because
Yeah.
why,
If it's one egg, it's fine. If it's multiple eggs, that's a problem.
he needs to stop. Ask them what salmonella tastes like. And then he rated it to Mari, so Mari has to put up with both the chat and Papa's soon-to-be vomiting ass.
Oh my god. If they do vomit, I hope they do vomit after that.
It might be the best for them.
To be honest. Yeah, it'd be better for them if they did vomit.
Better Baker, Pop Butter K. That's
Okay.
that's K from Case Cooking.
Okay.
I think it's
I wanna be
close.
honest.
I think it's close.
You think it's close?
I think honestly, if I'm being entirely sincere, I think it's close. I think Papa is a slight. K would probably be a better baker because K is more willing to follow instructions. Papa, you know, actually, I think K is a better baker. Papa might be a better cook. We have not yet seen him cook.
I'm scared to see Papa cook. There are a lot of things you need to do to cook
He tossed the fork
compared to baking.
in the cake to test if it was done. Like he just threw the entire fork in there.
Listen, I'm gonna be real. I know people say it's not a bit. Fuck, it doesn't. Fuck, it feels like a bit.
It's not a bit. It's not a bit.
I know
Having
it's
met
not-
Papa in
no,
real
I know
life,
it's not a bit.
it's 1,000% not
No,
a bit.
No, I know it's not a bit. But fuck, it feels like a bit.
That is actually just Papa. Oh.
Someone time out Delos, please. Someone time out Delos.
Oh. So, I won't time out Delos. I will time out Carbuncle. I think that's very good. Well, thank you for being here, Blythe. And, oh, thank you for the follow. Have fun walking your dogs, and thank you for being here. Oh, Kaizy. Thank you for timing out Delos.
See you, Blythe.
I was gonna shut up, Best Wolf. Oh fuck!
See you, Blythe.
I'm gonna morb. There we go. And here's this. Oh, thank you, Kat. Kaizy hit that timeout. Don't shout that slut who stole my username, Karki. You know what? Fair enough. Because I shouted out Kaizy by accident because Kaizy hadn't chatted, and Twitch does this fucking weird thing where it like doesn't let me at freely. I can only add people who have already spoken in chat. Although usually it lets me add people who have used commands, but I guess that was a you know, mod command.
I might need a moment to warm up.
We'll call the
Also, we need
Twitch
time out
channel.
Carl. Anyway,
Yeah, we need time out for Carbuncle. 69 seconds. There isn't really a way he could have left a message anyway, except for maybe a text, but with no phone and no service. If this Brian guy really wants to help them, though, he should have gone to the highway instead. He has to have a car, right? It's not like he can just survive out here in an old trailer. Cameron fixes his face to a pleasant smile, and knowing that it seemed to set the old bear at ease whenever he did.
Do you have a car?
you look so fucking smug.
A little bit. Brian, seemingly absorbed in what he's doing, glances back.
Well, I kinda share a truck with another guy in town. He happens to be out of town with that truck right now. Of course he would be, right?
Oh, okay.
Brian smiles at him again.
I can see why Daniel likes you. You're a friendly kid.
Starkey?
The story's fucking
burp.
with me.
Starkey.
It's
Story.
fucking with me. It's fucking with
Starkey,
me.
stop
Starkey, the
theory
line.
crafting. Stop theory crafting.
Oh, you mean Devin? That was TJ. That wasn't
Shit.
Cam.
Shit, yeah. My brain doesn't remember things like it used to.
What are you talking about? Every character is TJ. Every character is just various flavors of TJ.
That's true.
Sorry, Stomky, Stanley, Storble.
You're fine.
Wait a second. Oh wait, no, never mind. Ignore me. No, ignore me. Sorry.
Cameron stares at the table, feeling like that exchange was very strange, but it's hard to think through the cloudiness. Despite the dulled anxiety, the feeling is worrying him more and more.
I'm actually feeling really weird. I'm so tired.
Well, considering what happened to you, that makes sense.
Oh God!
Oh my god, the air's trying to kill me.
You okay?
That's just Chill getting really into character.
Oh, the drugs are kicking in.
That meth 40 years ago is still hitting hard.
Have you guys seen that outtake from the Pokemon mobile game where the
Oh, yeah, James.
the James actor coughs mid line but stays in character?
Oh! that was so funny. Not to pry, but do you do any drugs?
No. Not anymore, at least. I mean, I had some weed like hours ago, but that should have worn off by now.
Brian shrugs.
People always say weeds ain't a big deal, but it's probably what fucked me up the most back when I first tried it.
Cameron listens to the sound of liquid being poured into a cup.
Yeah, I don't think I like it. But I shouldn't still be high, right?
You shouldn't, but after my first time smoking, I felt high for fucking years after, even when I wasn't touching the stuff.
Cameron feels a prickle of worry underneath the haze.
Years.
Yep, it's what's it called? Depersonalization. Made to feel like your own paws weren't my own. And everything looked all weird and distorted, like a filter was in front of my eyes.
Cameron vaguely recalls some of his own friends describing the exact same thing, even when their trip was supposed to be over. He experienced it himself while he was under the influence of various dissociatives. Having the same experience while he's supposed to be sober is borderline terrifying, though.
Weed does that?
Welcome on in, Werewolf Fritz. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Do not trust this bear. Don't trust him for an instant. His worry and panic breaks through the surface for a second, and he feels that, like, for that moment, he surfaced from the muddy depths of his confusion before slipping back under. He can't live in a dream for the rest of his life. But what even is his life sitting here in a trailer with an old, slightly smelly bear? How did he even get here again? Where's Dev?
Oh shit.
Cameron suddenly grips the table, paws shaking as he feels as if he's lifting out of his body somehow, and that he has to hold on to something to remain in place. Oh my god. Yeah.
Ignore it, keep reading.
No, keep going, keep
Don't
going.
take the bait, Starkey.
Hey, you're alright, kid. Here,
You fuckers won't let me theory craft.
Starkey, read.
Keep reading.
Fine. Brian ambles over to his fridge, opens the freezer, pulling out the ice tray, and drops a few cubes into the mug, the ice clinking loudly. He stirs it in for a few moments, then turns back to the trembling coyote.
Hope you don't mind the ice, but it should be cool enough to drink now.
Still confused and terrified and just wanting to do something to focus on, Cameron reaches out for the mug the bear is holding out to him. Takes it in a trembling paw, gulping it down. It's filled with honey and the strong taste of ginger. It's unlike any chamomile tea he's had before. The amount of honey is surprising.
Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it.
It's clearly drugged, right?
No, I'm not gonna say it.
No.
No, we're talking about
I'm
Jinner.
talking about how you pronounce.
I fucking know. Shut. Oh, don't Starky, read the story. Starky, read the story. Why are you delaying? Oh, you said the word Jinner. I'm so.
You know what? Stream's over. Close his stream.
All right. Nice having you here. Okay, Cam, don't drink the clearly poison brew. Don't do it.
They poison. That's silly thinking.
It's not poison. It's just drugged to absolute fucking back. Still, Cameron doesn't get the full flavor of the concoction until he's finished it, and as he exhales, an odd, nutty taste mixed with what Cameron can only describe as dirt lingers in the back of his tongue. Cameron frowns at the bizarre, terrible tea. He can't help pulling a face as he looks into the mug, a thick round glob of honey remaining at the base while dark particles slowly collect around it. It's distracting enough that his panic attack is terminated before it can really begin. Brian laughs.
Sorry about that. I like to add a little kava root to soothe anxiety too. Should have warned you.
Yeah, kava root. Cameron had thought the taste was somehow familiar, but he'd supposed that any kind of root would have an earthy, bitter taste.
Oh, it's okay. I just wasn't expecting it.
Oh my.
Sorry, I had to mute so I could cough to clear my throat.
Oh, okay.
You're fine.
Chat, please calm down.
Chat, we've had a talk about you guys.
Listen, the talk I had was specifically don't make the joke about haha likes Brian. Chat's still free to publicly shame themselves for liking Brian. Oh, hold up, Chris. Chris, wait, now is not the time for you to drink water.
Gulp, 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 gulp. I'm like a spider monkey high on Mountain Dew.
I probably shouldn't have put Mountain Dew in his drinking bottle. Anyways.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's okay. Wait, did you skip a line?
No.
Okay,
no.
Because it like shows it in stages.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. I just wasn't expecting it. I read about kava a few times when I was looking for ways to help with anxiety. Never tried it, though.
Well, get ready for it to change your life. It got me off all my chill pad meds. I do have some leftover bars if you need something stronger, though.
Xanax? I'll wait and see.
Well, that would be nice. Cameron already feels like falling asleep, so it doesn't seem like the best idea. Pokemon and media scales. Also, everyone, the pinned message, give it a read. It's there for a reason. We're getting such foul vibes. I don't think I really like Brian that much, but if that's unawarded, then yeah. Oh, you'll see.
Let's keep going.
Well, he mostly believes Spare's story. He doesn't want to be completely unaware of what's happening right now.
I'm guessing you've had some experience with it before, huh?
Cameron frowns at the table, not sure what to say. He doesn't really want to discuss his past with a stranger, even if the guy seems like he would understand. Brian puts his paws up, like he's showing that he's unarmed.
Hey, I don't judge, kid. I was into that lifestyle for most of my life before I started turning things around.
Well, Cameron is still cautious. He doesn't want to make it seem like he's suspicious. It doesn't feel like the best idea to sour things between him and the only other person with him in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, I did a bit of everything in middle school and high school. The only thing I got hooked on was opioids, though.
Ugh, you in half the country, kid. That's a rough one.
The tiredness is starting to plateau, if not recede slightly, and Cameron feels an odd but welcome sense of empathy towards the bear. It must be the kava kicking in. Brian's face appears a bit more defined and clear, and there's a warmness in his eyes.
It was my first drug, too. I experimented with everything else because I was trying to find something less addictive and harmful.
Brian shakes his head.
That's the problem with it. There ain't much out there that makes you feel that good. That's what I'm told, anyway.
Brian chuckles.
Took just one of my dad's hydros and ended up puking my guts out for hours. Guess I'm lucky that I can't keep him down.
Cameron thinks about how nice it would have been if he had become violently ill whenever he tried opioids or any other drug for that matter.
Yeah, I'd say that's some good luck. I quit in college and haven't done it since, though.
Good for you.
Brian gazes down his nose at Cameron, starting to frown. Cameron's ears twitch as he senses a sudden change in mood.
Now, I don't mean to bring this up again, but did your, visions get more intense when you did heroin?
Welcome on in, Dual Den. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Do not trust this bear.
Everyone's reaction coming in with the goddamn same. Sorry.
For those of you who are around for Echo, you know what's up. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, this bear is not to be trusted. At first, Cameron wants to correct the bear and say that he's never done heroin, but then stops as he thinks back. Of course, his visions got worse whenever he was on certain drugs, including opioids, but he had assumed back then that they were just agitating his already present delusions. It was only today that he'd made the connection between drug usage and hallucinations, or visions.
Yeah, actually. And a few times on other stuff, too. Has that happened to you?
Definitely.
Again, feelings of empathy grow in the coyote's chest. There are others like him, just like him.
Maybe I'm not going crazy then. I keep going back and forth on that.
Brian chuckles a bit.
Well, not normal crazy anyway, right? Say.
Brian looks carefully at Cameron again, and the coyote is almost distracted by the glow that seems to be emanating from the bear's eyes. Oddly enough, the intensely vivid and defined fur seems to be rippling, as if blowing in the wind, even though they're inside. Is this kava?
You ever tried something more trippy, like acid or shrooms?
Brian, you fucking did not. Cameron shifts uncomfortably at the last words.
Yeah, both. Acid was fine, but nothing weird happened. Shrooms just kind of fucked me up, and I saw all kinds of things.
That's too bad. That one can be a real eye-opener.
Oh,
Cameron isn't sure what else to say, feeling just a bit uncomfortable again.
But, yeah, most drugs make you see more things. Only ones that don't are stims. It's why so many people here got into meth.
Brian chuckles again, but this time it sounds a bit dark, sinister even.
Only problem with that is meth still makes you see shit. But only because it makes you go crazy.
Arches and half circles.
yeah.
Cameron looks back down at the table. He wonders about his mother again, and if maybe she was like him. Maybe she took the stimulants because she was just trying to avoid the visions, but ended up starting a wave of hallucinations and delusions instead. Oh, oopsies. Karen watches the wood grain on the table shift and move slightly, like waves on an ocean. This fucking bear did not drug my child. He drugged my child.
Someone please clip that. Please.
I'm in
It's
hell.
such a good moment.
I'm in hell.
He did not drug my child. He drugged my child.
Why would he do this?
He's gonna cry.
One second, I'm clipping it.
Thank you. This bear did not drug my child. He drugged my child. It's just the deadpan.
New quote. And then it
There
hits
we
him.
go.
Oh, thank you.
There we go. It's clipped.
Yeah, having a
Game
feeling
off.
that game pivot might happen soon. Oh, well, I think I think we're fine to stick with this because we only got like we're like halfway through stream, so and so far the
Yeah.
vibes are okay.
What? Oh, that's. Okay.
What are
I
you?
clicked-
Are you okay?
I went to paste it, and then a big menu popped up. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I
He
don't
did not-
like the fucking sounds. The song. Hey, can the song chill a little bit?
Maybe if you keep reading.
Yeah, read.
And then it hits him. It hits him hard. The aftertaste of the tea, why it was familiar, why things are moving in inexplicable ways, why everything is feeling more fucked up by the second. He's been here before. A moment seems to blank out of existence from Cameron's memory because the next thing he knows, he's already standing up, the chair sliding back behind him. He stares at Brian with wide eyes, mouth open, but he can't seem to say anything. He can't think of what to say to the bear, if the bear did what he thinks he did. Brian stares back, watching Cameron carefully in a way that tells the coyote that the bear isn't surprised at all by his reaction, and that makes Cameron even more afraid. The cozy, dreamy lighting of the trailer becomes more ominous, red, and dangerous, and the bear in front of him seems to warp. Into a demon.
No, 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 no! What did you give me?
Cameron looks wildly at the coffee mug.
You need to calm down. Understand?
What did you give me?
I think you already know the answer to that. So why don't you sit down and get it together?
The bear's face is so warped, but Cameron honestly can't tell if it's real or not.
Was it psilocybin? Did you drug me with shrooms?
Brian says nothing, and he's right that Cameron knows. He could never forget this feeling.
Oh my god, why? It ruined my life!
Cameron is heaving for breath, the sounds of his gasping almost drowning the bear out.
Sit down, and I'll explain.
But Cameron has no intention of sitting down. The sensations and visuals are just as bad as the last time, if not worse, and he's only at the beginning. The fear and panic reach a dizzying level, and Cameron is running around the table for the door. Then he's on his back, his chest, spine in the back of his head aching. Brian is on top of him. Cameron is on his back. You can see the coffee mug shatter on the ground a few feet away. Cameron struggles, wheezing for breath.
Let me go! I can't breathe!
Brian responds by squeezing his arms tighter, leaning more weight on Cameron's torso.
Ah! Stop! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
Ursus mind the pin comment. He doesn't know what he's apologizing for, just hoping that maybe it'll get the bear to stop.
Told you were cute when you were smiling.
That statement, for whatever reason, is the scariest part of what's happening right now. He starts to scream for the only person he can think of right now.
Devin! Help me! Devin! Devin!
Shut the fuck up.
Brian sounds legitimately disgusted as he pulls himself off of Cameron. The coyote prepares to scream again, but sees Brian's foot lash out and kick him in the side, sending him against the base of the counter. Then, leaning over him with both of his giant paws on the edge of the counter, he starts kicking Cameron over and over. Cameron yelps and wheezes. The blow is hard enough that he's worried the bear is definitely going to break something if he hasn't already. He thrashes and rolls, trying to escape. Then, when Kit catches him particularly hard at the base of his sternum, he violently curls up, a loud, frog-like croaking noise escaping his throat. Brian pauses as the sound sounds continue emanating from Cameron's mouth. Cameron can hear the bear breathing heavily over him as Brian watches his agonizing writhing, almost like he's fascinated by it. After nearly a minute, the terrible noises can turn back to gasps, which then turn into sobs as Cameron stays curled up on his side, one arm around his midsection while the other is pressed over his eyes. Brian doesn't move, just watching as Cameron cries on the floor. At first, Cameron thinks it might be better to just keep his eyes closed and try to disappear into the darkness, maybe wake up again, but in a new place this time. Anywhere seems better than here. But that's when odd, slightly curved, glowing red lines begin expanding and shrinking behind his eyelids. Cameron whines at the terrible reminder of what's going to happen. He's going to trip, and it's going to be terrible. Cameron pulls his paws away from his eyes and finds that what he sees isn't much better. The huge bear is crouched in front of him, his fur now a writhing, pulsating mass of a thing that almost seems like another living creature covering the bear.
Listen, what you do next is going to determine what's gonna happen to you.
This is a dream. It has to be a dream. Everything that's happening, not just in this trailer, but in this whole town, it has to be a dream, a hallucination, a trick. This can't be happening.
I need you to talk to some folks I need to know, or I used to know. If you're already one of those psychics, if you can fix my problems, I'll let you go like nothing happened.
Cameron? Devin comes to again, and he blurts out the name without thinking. He's not sure how long it's been since the last time he woke up. Feels like hours, possibly even days since he was last conscious. He'd been dreaming. Only about insects crawling and biting his arms, and tornadoes, twisting force. He realizes then that his arms are what brought him back to the waking world. They'd fallen asleep, and now the tingling's so bad it feels like they're covered in crawling, writhing ants made of molten lead. I'm glad I delayed that scene as long as I did. I'm in pain. The bear grunts in discomfort and tries to bring them down from above his head, but he isn't able to. They come up short and he hears a rattling sound close to his ears, which twitch at the loudness. Chains? Devin freezes, keeping his eyes closed, unsure if whoever did this to him is close by. Although it's hard to think through all the haziness, the memories come back to him rather quickly. First, he remembers walking deeper into the woods before the strange bear went into his trailer to get something. This is as far as I got with this myself, so I'm gonna dip. Yeah, thank you for being here, Darcel. I really appreciate it. He came out with a bottle of water, claiming it was for Cameron. Then, after walking further into the dense forest, they came upon a white van. The exact kind of van that would make most people suspicious. Devin did become more suspicious, but by that time it was already too late. The old bear had pulled a gun on them, one that wasn't his shotgun, and told them both to get in the van. Artie started to run, and the other bear didn't hesitate to shoot him, aiming for his head. Holy fuck! Devin isn't sure, but he could swear that he saw a spray of something, whether it be fur, blood, or worse, fan out from the back of Artie's head before he dropped. Devin's fingers and the toes clench inward as he thinks about that moment. The sound. The suddenness of it. But mostly he remembers the way Artie fell. It was instant, like strings that held him up had been cut, crumpling so quickly that Devin is sure that he'd been killed. At that point, Devin did not everything the old bear had told him to, including laying Cameron on the rough desert floor. Devin tries to keep from whining as he wonders if that might be the last time he saw Cameron, and then lay down in the van, letting him bind his arms up. He'd thought about fighting back in that moment, but it was so quick that before he knew it, he was secured and he was made to drink from the bottle. Now he's in the very center of the tornado. Twisting force. Devin clenches his eyes shut even tighter, feeling moisture gather at the corners. Around the point is equal to force times distance. But he opens them a moment later, realizing that his captor would have seen all the movements he's made. Perpendicular to force. He's alone in the van. His eyes sting, the bear realizes that he's sweating heavily. This metallic box he's stuck in is hot, almost overwhelmingly stifling. He worries for a moment that he's slept through the night and now it's sunrise and he's about to cook to death in this van. After gauging the light, he decides it's still around sunset, just a few hours after what had happened. After Artie had been killed. Shit. Devin squeezes his eyes shut again, feeling tears leak out and into the moist fur on his cheeks. He allows himself this moment, but quickly focuses again, knowing Cameron is still out there with that bear. That's enough to get a rise from Devin, one that builds into a wave in his chest. A combination of adrenaline and terror, but mostly fury. While the brutality of this backwoods bear evokes fear in Devin, it also makes him angry that anyone would feel they have the right to do that, what the old bear did. He opens his eyes again and takes in his surroundings. He's lying flat on his back, arms stretched above his head. You can feel that it's a pair of handcuffs that are holding him in place. There's enough give that, slowly, he's able to turn over on his stomach. The action is incredibly painful, and Devin can't help but grunt loudly, his arms feeling like they might fall off as they spasm. Slowly, painfully, he pulls himself up into a kneeling position, getting a better look at his predicament. He realizes then that these handcuffs are more like shackles, meant to hold bear-sized creatures like himself in place. They're bolted into the floor of the van. Devin glances up suddenly, his ears catching what sounds like a faint cry outside the van. Cameron? Devin's voice comes out hoarse and cracked once more. Was that Cameron? It sounded like him. Devin is still groggy from whatever was in that bottle of water, but he's sure he's heard the distinct sound of his boyfriend's voice. The fact that it's now so suddenly absent convinces Devin that it was definitely Cameron. He strains to listen for several more seconds but can't hear anything. He looks down at the heavy chain linking the metal cuffs around his wrist. Unbreakable. Still, he finds himself foolishly yanking at the shackles, hoping there's still some kind of give in the slightly rusted chains and bolts. Shit. Tears filled Devin's eyes, the feeling of falling forever returning. He felt this way only a few times before. The first time being while he was running home after he'd found Lupita's body. The last time being when he saw Arturo getting shot. And now, knowing that his boyfriend could be at the mercy of this bear whose intentions Devin can't even begin to guess. He just knows that they're very, very bad. But seeing the faces of those people, it changes something in Devin. A cool, icy calm descends on him, and he looks at the chains carefully. His classes in physics had taught him all about the way in which forces exerted can seemingly accomplish things that seem impossible. So even while his heart hammers in his ears, and even while his brain is clouded with a dense fog of sedation, Devin analyzes the chains and bolt holding it in place. Torque. Oh, good.
Even in peril, Dev is still a nerd.
I love it. I need more fucking water. I'm taking a water break.
I could
Take your time.
probably need more water too.
Yeah, I've been drinking water every time I had to do a voice line.
1 second, I'll be right back.
All right.
Water break.
Water break.
Water break.
Moving spirit back. All right, I have returned. I'm somewhat distant from my mic. Okay. What? So how you holding up, chat? Well, while those two continue, go get more hydration.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, welcome back. Also, sorry, Orsis, that you joined in the middle of that.
Hi, I'm back.
Oh, I'm muted in the Discord. I'm dumb.
I just sent that. I just sent that to you over Twitch.
I don't even know what the start was like. The start was not as bad as that. Yeah, Brian is designed to be a character that is just like is very I don't know. Like he's designed to play into a lot of
to be a character.
He's designed to play into a lot of like tropes of like, you know, the like hot dad bod character, but he's also just a fucking psychopath.
Brian is designed to be the worst of everything that the LGBT community has to offer.
Yep.
They are the scary version of what we are that people that are afraid of us think we are.
Yeah.
Think of them. They're a big guy that preys on unsuspecting younger people and is into BDSM and kinky stuff. It always takes it too far. Doesn't pay attention to the partner's safety, and gets off on the pain. And that's what they are. They're just they're a horrifying, twisted version of everything our community stands for, and that's why they're a good villain.
They are a big bad example, exactly. Which is why it was so funny to have everyone join the stream and then be like, "Oh, who's this big handsome bear?" And then it's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you
that's why I
sweet
react.
summer child, you had no
That's why I
idea."
react.
Think
And that's
if
why I
you-
react to this. That's the way I reacted to say. Yeah, that's why I reacted that way, because everyone's reacting the way that they're
meant to.
expected way.
That's the way they're supposed
the-
to react. Exactly.
Just think if you didn't play,
Yeah.
because nowhere in this game does it say it's connected to Echo. So if you never played Echo and you just played Arches, that whole beginning, you wouldn't expect that Brian is some psychopath. That's why they snuck in that little line of in the middle of all that, of Devin being like, something bad happened, Artie got hurt, I can't move. So it's just like, wait, what happened to Devin Artie? Why is Camo alone? And then it's revealed that, yeah, Brian's a psychopath.
Yep. Literally my reaction from Flarty to what the fuck. Exactly. Oh. So yeah, Artie's fucking dead. Devin's trapped in a car, Artie's dead, and Cameron's tripping on shrooms.
Not just any car, that's the van from Echo.
It's not the same fucking van, is it? No,
Because
it
that
can't
van
be.
was on Brian's property.
No, it can't be the same van, because he said that the van was white. The van we see in Echo is definitely not white.
1 second, let me check, because I'm pretty sure that van is white.
It is I'm like
thought it was-
100% certain it is not.
I thought
1
it was white. It just
Yeah, it's white. 1 second, I'm
No
going
fucking
by-
way.
I have Echo's
It's
files open right
not the fucking murder van that kills Sam, is it?
now. Let me see. Because that van was on Brian's property.
yeah.
It's not the same van. I fucking refuse.
That's a white van. I can 1 second, I'm sending to you over Telegram.
I'm gonna morb.
It has green on it because it's because the paint is chipping away.
Are you sure it is? Okay, I'm checking Telegram. I've received the message. We're checking Telegram. That is, if I'm gonna fucking shit. It's the same goddamn van.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, what is Echo all about? You're always moving in circles.
That's you didn't have to do it to me like that. Goddamn. I'm in Spain without the S. So yeah, this van has now been involved in the death of like 2 people. 3?
Three.
No.
Wait,
No, 4.
wait. You're lowballing it on a high
You're
degree,
yeah.
man. You are lowballing it.
So
He's killed way more people.
Yeah, but the van. The
Oh,
van
yeah,
has
the
been
van,
involved.
the van, I think, is
Yeah.
specifically involved with 4.
Yes.
Now Artie, Sydney's dad, Sydney kind of indirectly, and then Sam. You're gonna play the smoke room later, right?
No.
No.
No,
No.
it's
we are
not okay for Twitch. It's for sure not okay for Twitch.
Oh, fuck off with that. We're not
Atomica,
playing
that game starts off with a blowjob.
Yeah, fuck
It's-
no.
It's for sure not allowed on Twitch.
The most they did was what during Jenna's route they read the first part of it, and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Marky
read
has read the very beginning lines of Smoke Room to get an idea of what happened in the mines.
we specifically read far enough in to see Nick because Nick is best boy.
Yeah. And that's it. No, we're not going any further.
We were like, we read the analog and then we skipped until. Did I say stream it? No, I did not. Hey,
Okay, asshole.
I don't-
We know what you meant.
yeah, but I also don't necessarily think I vibe with TSR's writing style. It's just a little bit too dour for my taste. Karen stays curled up on the floor for what feels like a long time. He had ultimately decided that he'd rather watch the harmless, pulsating arches dance across his eyelids rather than the nightmare the trailer is becoming. Oh my god! Oh, I'm in pain.
We're always in pain, Stucky. Keep reading. Sorry.
Bruh. Every minute or so, the reality of the situation hits the coyote, and a burst of whimpering gasps escape his muzzle for a few minutes, before fading back to only whimpering. He would stay down there until his trip was over, but Brian ended up pulling him back to where he was sitting. At this point, the coyote doesn't fight the bear, going limp while his body is pulled along. For a minute, Brian tries to get him to sit in the chair, but eventually just gives up, dropping Cameron next to the table where he just lies on the floor. The coyote listens to the old bear moving around the trailer, though it's barely audible over his own gasping sobs. Eventually, those lumbering, shuffling footsteps come closer, and Cameron knows that the old bear is crouching next to him, though the coyote still doesn't open his eyes.
Listen, kid. Since you ain't gonna calm down, you're taking some Zax. Got it.
Cameron listens but doesn't move, afraid to do anything. Then he flinches as a rough, calloused paw grabs up his chin, forcing his mouth open slightly. Finally, Cameron opens his eyes a bit and almost gasps at the vivid red lighting, which keeps him distracted until something falls into his mouth. A pill, and Cameron recognizes its distinct bar shape and bitter taste. Ryan holds out a cup, a plastic one that Cameron looks at with undisguised fear.
It's just water.
The old bear gestures at the counter where a gallon jug sits. When Cameron still doesn't move, Brian sighs. Then he gets up, grabs the cup straight out of the sink, and pours it half full before drinking it. Cameron's mouth is as dry as the desert surrounding them, likely due to the combinations of drugs and fear, and he really doesn't want to swallow the pill to get rid of the taste. So he takes the cup and drinks, swallowing the Xanax, and despite his fear, he drinks until the cup is empty. He vaguely remembers his high school friends telling him to drink water to make his trips less intense. Cameron has the feeling that it probably won't change anything. Brian takes the cup from the coyote's limp paw and takes Cameron a second to realize that the bear is holding out another pill that looks like a small red square.
Now put this one under your tongue.
Oh, damn. Fucking assault. An assault on the senses. Cameron stares, trying to figure out if it's just the trip making it look that color or... Brian sighs again, becoming more impatient.
I broke a third off the bar I gave you.
But now Cameron is sure the pill is actually red, and he draws back. Counterfeit pill, and that probably means it's cut with something. Something like opioids.
I don't.
Oh my fucking god. Brian slaps him, the strike coming so fast the coyote isn't even sure what happened. The sudden numbing sting on the left side of his face, along with the bright flash of light, is very, very familiar. Though, and Cameron feels as though he's traveled 7 years back in time. His delayed reaction is a surprised gasp as he raises his arms over his face. The bear yanks his arm back down and thrusts the pill at his muzzle. This time the coyote opens his mouth willingly, maneuvering the pill to sit under his tongue. His movements feel almost robotic at this point. To Cameron's immense relief, this seems to satisfy the bear, and Brian gets up from his crouching position, backing away. The coyote sits there a moment, then slowly drags himself under the table, huddling in a corner as tears well up in his eyes again. After going through all that and knowing that there's plenty more to go through, Cameron longs for Devon more than he ever has before. He waits until the pill dissolves before asking the question that he dreads hearing the answer to.
Is Devon, the bear, is he still alive?
If this giant, violent bear had encountered Devon and Artie, there's no telling what he might have done to them. His heart drops as the bear seems to hesitate.
Please, tell me the truth.
Cameron needs to know.
The bear's fine. He's locked up, but fine.
His tone seems genuine, and even though Cameron will never trust him, he has to hold on to some hope.
And if I do this for you, you'll let him go too.
That's the
plan. He your boyfriend?
Cameron isn't sure how best to respond to that, so he doesn't. Brian shrugs.
Doesn't matter much to me. Just do what I tell you, and you'll both be out of here by tomorrow.
It's quiet for a moment, and Brian moves to the other end of the trailer, opening the fridge and doing whatever it is he does. Cameron doesn't bother keeping track.
Let me know when you start seeing shit. Got something to do real quick.
Cameron blurts out the other question, weighing heavy on his mind.
And Arturo, the cat, is he?
Brian doesn't look back and just sighs again. Cameron doesn't ask any follow-up questions, feeling like he got his answer. The thought that Artie might be gone is too messed up for his drugged-up mind, especially because he feels certain that he can't be gone. Cameron can't explain why, but he just feels it. He feels Dev and he feels Artie. Brian stands next to the door, holding a plastic water bottle.
I'm gonna go out for 5 minutes. I'll be right next to the trailer, so if I see you try anything, I'll shoot your boyfriend in front of you. And I'll kill you. Eventually.
Cameron doesn't move, but soon the trip intensifies and he hugs himself, the movement making his ribs ache from the earlier kicks. He just watches the vivid colors and shapes of his hallucinations. Meanwhile, the acrid taste of Xanax lingers on his tongue.
Xanax does not have a good taste at all.
I've never had a Xanax.
It's strong flavor, and not in a good way.
He hadn't felt any pain. He doesn't feel any pain right now either. Not physically, at least. It's something deeper. It's about who he used to be, who he is now, and who he's about to become. Something profoundly terrible has happened, and it's changed everything. He knows that much, at least. What he really wishes to know right now is who the hell he even is. He tries to think back to what he last remembers, standing in front of everyone in the second grade, his trembling paw holding his book report. He clears his throat, trying to figure out how to put the sentences together in advance. Speak up, Arturo. The whole class needs to hear you. Arturo. That's his name. Arturo Herrera. He opens his eyes. Arturo's not dead?
No.
But how did he end up here? Where are his classmates? Second grade or Was it third? No, he's positive that he's at least in high school. Tries again to remember what happened last. He was sitting in the junior parking lot with his girlfriend. He was upset because another girl in school was being mean to her. She's a Jaguar sitting in the passenger seat of his beat-up sedan, one of her feet up on his dash, and he's leaning toward her to kiss her on the cheek. What's her name? Sarah Mendoza. Or was it Montoya? But now he remembers that they didn't last long at all, maybe only a semester, probably because he sucks at comforting people. He does always say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Oh, so he's at least aware of that. But he still had several girlfriends after her up until...
Maria.
His voice is so alien, so strange, it startles him a bit. What's even more strange is how hard it is even to say her name. He stutters and he has to chew around the syllables like he's biting at the letters. As he does, he notices a sour taste in his mouth and he can smell vomit. Looking at the forest floor in front of his face, and he sees a dried mess of what he's sure is the source of the smell. Bits of something orange and mushy and chunks of what he recognizes as jerky. Things are just starting to come together, but it takes a long time, maybe even an hour, as he goes in and out of consciousness. Maria, Pueblo, Devon, psychology graduation, behavioral tech, road trip, accident, Echo. Cameron, THC, cartridges, visions, ghosts, panic, bear, gunshot. Gunshot. He's been shot. It's only now that he realizes his current position, curled up on his side, arms folded up in front of his chest. He tries to move his arms, but like everything else he's trying to do, it's very difficult. His muscles feel unnervingly weak, and every time he moves, it comes with an uncontrollable twitching and trembling. Arturo stares at his paws, watching the tremors, trying to quell the panic. Apparently, he slowly manages to sit up. Immediately, dizziness overtakes him, and he has to pause for several seconds before he's sure he's not going to fall back down. Once he's sitting up, his stomach turns and he dry heaves, and that's when he feels the pain. It's not terrible, but the deep, cold throb at the back of his head feels very wrong. With his shaking paw, he reaches back and finally feels the damage. The fur is crusted and matted, becoming a bit damp as he gets closer to the source. His fingers brush over a slight gap like there's a small crater in his fur. As he presses down, he realizes the crater goes past the fur, past his skin, and then he feels something oddly hard and almost sharp. Arturo gasps, realizing the stiff, jagged thing he's running a finger over is his broken skull. He jerks his paw away, breathing hard. He was shot in the head. In the head. He remembers deciding to run since the shotgun wasn't loaded, but then the bear had taken out another gun, a handgun, and then... How is he alive? How long will he stay alive? Is there a bullet in his brain right now? He knows he needs something, so he tries to ask for it.
I need shelf. Mel.
He struggles to not stutter, to say the right word that he knows he's trying to use. He knows that this is very, very bad. Devon was hurt too, maybe even killed. And Cameron, he was already hurt, and it was a monster in this forest that hurt him. The cat brings his knees up to his chest, putting his arms around him like he's a child. He feels like a child, helpless and completely confused as he sits injured in this terrible forest. This must be some kind of awful dream, and he wants to wake up. But even though everything feels unfamiliar, surreal, dreamlike, he knows this is real. Arturo feels his face crumple as he starts to cry, pushing his forehead against his knees.
I need something.
No, wrong word.
I need someone.
There's some relief as Arturo feels like he's improving at least a little bit. Maybe this is only temporary? He's been told several times in his psych and neuroscience courses the brain is plastic. The fact that he's recalling these memories, making sense of these memories, gives him hope. But there are still certain things, very simple things, that are missing.
Ruined my life!
Arturo jerks his head up to look up, heaving again as another wave of dizziness and nausea sweeps through him.
Cameron? Cameron?
He looks in the direction of the sound and sees a trailer, partially hidden behind tree trunks and bushes about 30 feet away. His right ear pops loudly several times and he rubs at it, feeling fluid come out. He knows it's blood. Cat slowly begins to stand up and immediately gets a terrible shock as he realizes the weakness he'd felt in his arms is also in his legs. He struggles and stumbles his way to the trees, trying not to panic again before finally leaning up against it.
No! I can't breathe!
Arturo realizing he's not the only one in this nightmare. The monster come back for Cam.
I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
Arturo starts moving towards the trailer before it dawns on his shattered, bewildered mind that he's looking at that bear's trailer. The one that shot him, and he must have Cameron in there.
Devin! Help me! Devin! Devin!
Arturo flinches back at the sound, and his fur bristles out along his spine, eyes wide as Cameron's screaming echoes through the forest. The cat looks around helplessly, hoping that Devin does come to help. Even though that evil bear is bigger, Devin's a pretty big bear too, and he would stand a much better chance than he himself would. Thuds followed by yelps and howls come next, and finally it's too much for Arturo.
Dev, you're Cameron.
He can't go in there like this. He knows that, but he can get help. Maybe. Depending on how bad it is, these problems he's having could get a lot worse over the course of just a few hours. But he has no choice. While he knows he has a car, he also knows that he can't use it, even though he can't remember why. He remembers that there's a highway, the one that they should have gone to the second he got here. He needs to get them all help. So with one more terrified look at that trailer, he starts to make his way out of the forest. At first, Arturo is filled with a sense of hopelessness as he finds out just how hard it is to walk, with his right side being almost limp. Okay, at this moment, I'm gonna take a very, very small aside. I'm glad they got away with the fucking, they got rid of the tinnitus noise. The you got flashbanged in a video game noise. If you have really good headphones, there's a very, very high-pitched, annoying noise that I still notice. To be fair, that's
there? I didn't hear it.
I can hear it. But the fact that you can't hear it, but you're probably feeling the effects of it, it means it's good sound design.
Oh, do you think it's just the song?
I think it's hidden in the song.
Ah.
Because it almost feels like a headache. Which is, fitting for the current circumstance. So, shout out to the audio guy. You killed it. 10 out of 10. Thank you for no longer giving me tinnitus. Probably doesn't translate properly through stream. That's fair. Feels like half of his...
Yeah.
That's also very fair. Feels like half of his muscles have just wasted away. But after some trial and error, he finds that if he widens his stance a bit and swings his arm in a way that looks a bit lopsided, he's able to keep his balance. His pace is reasonable as well, so swallowing down his panic again, he makes his way back onto the dirt road. Even through the disbelief of his situation, and even though he's terrified for Cameron and Devin, he feels something deep down that's even worse. He tries to ignore it, but it gnaws to the back of his brain. He's dying, and he can feel it. Devin struggles with his handcuffs, trying to get the chain into the position that he wants. He pulls his paw up until the chain is taut, then moves slowly in a circle around the bolt until the chain twists in on itself. That was the easy part, and based on the tension he felt being put on the chain links, he had been feeling pretty confident. But then he'd spent what feels like the last hour trying to actually put enough force and weight into the motion so that the chain would break. While the twisted chain is taking most of the pressure off his own wrist, it still hurts. Devin can see through his fur that he's already starting to bleed from his wrist, and his fur is coming off in small tufts with each failed twist and jerk. Come on, damn it, please! After another failed heave, Devin slumps with his paw pressed to the floor of the van, gasping and sweating. A wave of dizziness comes over him, and he ends up pressing his face to the metal floor. Please help me. Devin half-heartedly prays, just in case there is something above all of this. Footsteps. Devin scrambles to twist back around and step over the anchoring bolt so that his paws are behind him again, sitting up to face the back door of the van. It opens, and Devin finds himself staring at the bear that did this to him. Even though he doesn't want Cameron anywhere near this man, seeing that Coyote isn't there with Brian sends panic through the younger bear. What do you want? Where's Cameron? Please.
Got it.
Devin watches with dread as he sees the huge bear holding that water bottle. Please, just tell me what you want. I'll give it to you. Just let me see him. His teeth snap together, and the next thing the bear knows is that his head is resting against the metal cage partition that separates the back of the van from the seats. Dazed, his chin is on his chest, his arms under his back, forcing him to arch his chest and stomach toward the van's roof. Then, Brian is on him, pressing the bottle to his lips. Dazed from the punch, Brian can only mumble in protest. No, no! Devin sees the look in the other bear's eye and knows that eventually he's going to have to drink from the bottle again. Feeling completely defeated, Devin can only plead with the man. Wait, just tell me what you want. Is he okay?
Boy, you're really starting to piss me off. If you don't do what the fuck I tell you.
Brian grabs Devin's chest for in both paws and hauls him up so he's sitting in a more upright position.
I'm gonna take it out on that little cockstock yote. You understand me? Now shut up!
But Devin can't shut up. He's half convinced that Cameron is already dead. Please, just let me see him so I know he's okay.
Alright. I was gonna say you already earned him a good hit. Now it's 2. Wanna add a 3rd?
Devin just stares. Of course, he knows that Brian doesn't need an excuse, that if he really wants to hurt Cameron, he can. Because there's nothing Devin can do. He can only do what the older bear tells him to do, so he opens his mouth. Slowly, Brian pours the slightly bitter water into his mouth and Devin drinks. Even though his body wants to keep drinking, Devin starts to pull back after only a few swallows as if he's had enough and doesn't even suspect the water is drugged. But Brian pushes the bottle hard enough that Devin's lips are painfully mashed between the plastic and his own teeth, and he's forced to keep drinking. Even when he lets a tiny bit dribble out of the corner of his mouth, Brian growls more threats at him. Eventually, the water is gone and Devin hangs his head in defeat as Brian pulls backing out of the van. Devin squeezes his eyes shut, wishing the fucking bear would just tell him what's happening, what he's doing to Cameron, why he's keeping him alive. But the younger bear is too afraid to talk, too afraid of what Brian might do, and without another word, the van door is slammed shut. This is one of the few circumstances where I would actually advise inducing vomiting. Devin, you can just vomit that up, my guy.
How? His arms are tied.
Ow.
Wait, I thought he was able to rearrange himself so that way he was able to bring his.
He can move. He can move, but his arms and legs are tied.
Yeah, he can move slightly.
I would need. I'm quote unquote. I'm a visual learner, but unironically, I don't understand the. Is it like? Wait, do they actually mention his leg being tied?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. You mentioned legs and arms and legs are chained by
Though I
tied
am
together
I
with
am
chains.
also kind of confused because it seemed like he was sitting in a way that he could see his arms and legs being tied, but also they're behind his back.
He has at least enough motion where he can try to torque the chains to try and free himself.
I think they're behind his back and he's chained to it. Like maybe it might be like a whole chain that's wrapped around his arms and then tied to a separate point.
The entire point of that first thing, the first flash cut to Devin was him turning himself around so that way he could try to apply torque.
Yeah. He must have dislocated his arm.
Yeah, I think but doesn't it mention that he dislocates his arm?
Does
at all?
Does it? No, it just says it hurts because he got his ass whipped by by Brian.
Huh.
It hurts being on his stomach.
Interesting.
But it's a very, very minor plot hole. Just something that just my initial reaction would be, okay, well, you've drink the water, wait for Brian to walk away, induce vomiting. Wasn't it in the drawn blood saying he broke his arm. I don't think he broke his arm.
I don't think he broke his arm either. Yeah, he definitely didn't break his arm.
It hasn't been dislocated. He's just pulling and moving on the chains. Yeah, because he is at least in enough. He has enough mobility to try and torque the chains to break them. So he should have enough mobility to reach some appendage into his mouth to induce vomiting. But it's like I said, it's a relatively minor thing. Cameron stays under the table, the Xanax having kicked in fully by this point, leaving the coyote in a bit of a quiet, stoic haze. His sobbing has trailed off, not much emotion left in him, aside from feeling numb. His trip is getting more and more intense, and he knows that the peak is nearing, maybe in another half an hour. Still, he begins to notice things that he's sure aren't part of his trip. Presence not too far away, one that he knows very well. Dev. With no idea what he's doing, he instinctively reaches out toward that warm energy, but then he's interrupted by another presence he doesn't recognize, one that's much closer. Cameron gets on his paws and knees, looking out from under the table.
May I ask something?
Yeah.
For this scene, could each of us do one? Like, you
Oh,
do
yeah.
one, I do one, Marsh does one.
There's
Okay.
going to be a list.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's a
that's fair.
list of people.
And it's well, that's an entirely fair point. Is that he's literally, he like doesn't think to induce vomiting, because that's
Also, like,
a very
he
niche
does-
reaction.
Also, if he does induce vomiting and Brian comes back, there's going to be a pile of vomit on the floor of that
Yeah,
van.
that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Which that would, I think that would actually that would sink in the hopelessness even more, is if Dev thinks to do that and then realizes, what am I gonna try to escape if I can't escape, and Brian, like, it becomes an all or nothing play that Dev decides just isn't worth it, and so it sinks in the hopelessness of that moment even more. Little writer moments, but yeah, we can each shake one. Was such a good CG. I love it. Admittedly, this chair has a little bit of the... Yeah.
Shh, keep going.
Okay, fine. I'm stalling. Listen. I don't like it.
Sorry.
Okay, fine.
Keep going.
The vision is definitely different than anything he's experienced before. Unlike the dreamlike, reality-altering psilocybin, the visions he's entered has a clarity to it, like he's not even tripping at all. The figure of someone appears before him, and Cameron knows everything immediately. Benjamin Kowalski, a rabbit born in 1977, ran away from his Pueblo home when he was 16. For several years, he moved from city to city, sometimes in surrounding states, before settling in Peyton. He stocked shelves at a grocery store, and the extra money he saved up would fund his weed supply. Brian was his dealer. In September 1998, he agreed to let Brian take him to his trailer home in Echo. He was promised 2 ounces of weed in exchange for one night of lovemaking, it, as the bear had put it. Benjamin wasn't gay, and even if he was pretty sure Brian wouldn't be his type. 2 ounces was a lot, though, and way too good to pass up. After 4 days of torture, Brian accidentally strangled him for too long, and Benjamin didn't regain consciousness. Of course, Brian planned on killing him anyway, so he did. The bear was only disappointed that he didn't get a few more days with him.
You can take this one, chill.
Okay. Timothy Esposito was a skunk born in 1985 in a decaying industrial Midwestern city. He transplanted to Mesa, and in May 2005, that was where he attended a BDSM-themed event in an unused warehouse. He liked breath play, and so did Brian, so they fooled around a bit. He didn't much like Brian, but the bear liked him a lot. Brian liked him so much, in fact, that he followed the skunk as he walked home after the event and kidnapped him on an empty street. Timothy was strong and almost escaped multiple times, once managing to leave the trailer before being caught just a few dozen feet from the dirt road. Brian continued their breath play, except now it wasn't play at all, and after 2 weeks, Brian again suffocated his victim for too long. This time, Brian thought he was fairly successful in keeping his victim alive that long.
Daniel Gallegos was a ferret born in 1996. He was from the Sonoran capital, but was staying with family in Mill City to work a summer job. He was saving up money for his university tuition. In August 2014, days before he was meant to head back to Sonora, he met Brian outside a club before being kidnapped and driven to Echo. Brian was able to keep him for an entire month, and even though a few of Brian's customers had seen him tied to the torture rack, no one said a thing. Eventually, Brian seemed to decide he'd gotten all he could out of the ferret, and he bludgeoned Daniel to death with an old tire iron, just because he wanted to try something different. The bear couldn't believe how long it took, how hard he had to hit the kid before he finally stopped moving.
Cameron!
Cameron is jolted back to reality as he yanked up by his shirt so he's not even touching the floor. Brian's paws hold the front of his shirt while shaking him violently.
No, what? What is it?
Cameron kicks around to try and get his feet on solid ground again. Despite being almost overwhelmed by the numbing calm of Xanax, it's not enough to stop the primal fear Cameron has of this bear, especially not after seeing the horrors he committed on those men. What he'd just seen was condensed, distilled into an easy-to-follow series of events, but all the while he'd absorbed all the tiny details too. He knows Brian promised these men many things, that he'd only keep them for 1, 2, 3 more days before letting them go. But if they'd just be a little more quiet, he'd let them go. But Cameron knows none of those promises were kept. The visions had been so real that to Cameron it felt like he'd been there for everything they went through. Luckily, he hadn't felt anything, but it was as if he was in the room with them, this room. Brian seems to gain some control over himself and lets go of the coyote. Cameron isn't able to stand with his weak, shaking legs and sits down heavily on the ground, looking up at the looming bear.
Kept calling your name and you wouldn't answer. I told you to let me know if the visions were starting.
I couldn't.
Brian waits, looking more impatient the more Cameron stammers, which only makes him stammer more.
I swear to fucking God, why do all of you become whimpering little dipshits the second I lose my cool for like a second?
He reaches down and Cameron cringes as he's yanked up to his feet again. It's clear that Brian wants to keep standing this time, so he does, steadying himself against the table behind him.
Quit that crying.
He does his best to stop, but the sobs keep coming. Brian, the visions, the people he just felt. It's not an easy thing to just shrug off.
I said to quit it, not be quieter.
Cameron's mouth dries up even more, his tongue now sandpaper against the roof of his mouth as fear helps shock him into a statue-like state. Cameron knows he owes a lot to the sedative right now. Without it, he wouldn't be able to stop and Brian might kill him.
That's better, but faster next time. Got it?
Okay.
Cameron opens his mouth to answer but finds himself yanked forward suddenly, only to come to a horrible jarring stop as the bear slams his knee into the coyote's torso. Cameron watches the luminous arches writhe about, convulsing, almost like they're mirroring the coyote's inner turmoil. The knee is so big compared to himself that it seems to cover most of his chest and stomach.
You can thank your boyfriend for that one, and he still earned you one more.
Brian finally pulls back and Cameron crumples to the ground, unable to process what Brian is saying, not that he'd be able to understand it anyway. The coyote lets out a guttural groan over and over again.
What's that you're saying?
Brian taunts him from above, and Cameron responds with a whooping gasp, pressing his face into the floor in agony.
I asked you a fucking question!
Cameron is lifted into the air again, feeling his feet kick around for purchase on the ground as he once again dangles from his shirt, the fabric stretching to the point that Cameron can hear the threads popping in his collar. Cameron cracks open an eye and sees Brian drawing back a huge paw, and Cameron manages to choke out a few words with the tiny amount of air he's gathered into his collapsed lungs.
No, nothing.
Cameron wheezes loudly between the words, knowing that this is exactly what Brian likes, but how can he stop himself? He's not even sure if stopping himself would help. Maybe that will only trigger Brian into hurting him more. But to Cameron's relief, the bear pauses, then slowly drops his fist. Cameron sees the wild look in Brian's eyes gradually leave as he stares at the gasping coyote in his grasp.
Guess I'll have to save the other for later then.
The bear lets go and Cameron slumps back to his knees, curling up again in the fetal position.
Now, what was it you saw? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Okay.
You good, man?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just need a moment. Stretch and reset.
I didn't realize how close we're getting to like the.
Yeah, if you want to go a little bit longer, because we're almost at the end of the current build.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like we're really close.
This is what me and Chill read on for the
Donathon.
Donathon stream.
Okay.
Also, Chill, holy shit,
What?
second take on this, and you're fucking killing it.
God damn.
Like,
Thank you.
holy shit.
He didn't feel any pain, but now he does. Speak up, Arturo. The whole class needs to hear you. He's in front of 20 curious, attentive eyes while his paws shake, almost making his papers rattle. He's had less than a year to learn a new language, and now they expect him to give an entire book report. He'd give anything to be in his room, gaming on his brand new PlayStation 2, but first he has to figure out how to survive these next 5 minutes. He's playing his PlayStation 4 in his dorm room when Maria walks in.
Hey, beautiful. You able to get some sleep?
He doesn't look up from his game. Oh, you shouldn't. You should. I missed typo. Oh, you should.
Just be normal, woman.
Oh.
It's not a typo, by the way.
Oh. I'm gonna have a stroke.
Starkey has been beaten.
I'm gonna have a stroke real quick. Oh, you sure know my overflow toe. That makes him look up.
Huh?
She looks confused, frustrated. Born and sworn, and to mourn and forlorn? Puts down the controller and stands up.
Baby, what?
Arturo installs a lock on the medicine cabinet. He helps her eat healthy. He helps make sure she goes to bed at the right time. Whenever she feels a mood swing approaching, high or low, they prepare together. Maria once cried and told him that she wasn't worth it, that he should find someone that isn't an unpredictable mess. He told her she was definitely worth it, and that they just need to be prepared. Arturo opens his eyes and then cringes at the ache in his head. Not an ache, but an explosion ripping through his skull, his brains, and down his spine. It hurts so much that he lets out a sound that's half moan, half scream. This time, it seems to take even longer for him to understand where and when he is. He had been moving as fast as he could without actually running or jogging, since he isn't even capable of doing that. He guessed he had probably made it 2 miles away from Echoes, so 5 more to go. He'd just been thinking about how he was walking almost exactly like his grandfather did after his stroke, and Arturo had thought, now we'll actually have something to bond over before it happened. A dizzy spell, unlike all the others, made him stumble, like he was looking over the edge of a cliff. Then anxiety like he'd never known before overcame him, making his heart beat so fast Arturo was convinced he was going to explode. He got on his knees, started praying for help, and then... Now he's here, on the ground, his nose and forehead stinging from where it slammed into the asphalt, and the rest of his body just aches. He'd had a seizure, and even though he's never had one before, he knows that's what happened. At least he was on his knees, so his face didn't have far to fall. Still, he's left feeling so exhausted, so defeated that he just wants to lay there. He'd been in a half-dream state, completely confused as he stared around him, memories flicking through his mind like a Viewmaster. An hour had passed, maybe 2, before he finally understood what his situation was again. He almost wants to go back to that confused state, pretend it's a dream. But now he's crying, because how is he going to take care of Maria if he can barely walk, barely talk? She's good at taking care of herself, but he needs to be there, just in case. He needs to live, and he needs to get better. And while he's glad to be out of Echo, he knows Cameron is still there, and if Devin is gone too, he knows the bear would only want him to save Cameron. Get up, Arturo. All your friends need you. Eventually, he slowly sits up. His paw is shaking so badly, he's worried he's having another seizure, but eventually he steadies himself. He needs to keep moving. So, with a deep, shuddering breath, Arturo starts to carefully get up, and that's when he sees it. Sorry about that. Just had a moment.
Say Discord cut you off.
Thank you, Discord. Stream had to deal with it.
What happened?
I
screamed.
scream. For those of you who were there for the Echo playthrough, you recognize this fucking thing.
If someone could clip the screen, I would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
Thank you.
Even if that thing is a murderous monster, still better than Brian. Fun fact, this thing kills Brian like twice. It stares, and Arturo just stares back silently. In that moment, he's sure that he actually did die, that what he assumed was a seizure was really just the end. And now this thing, this embodiment of death, is here to take him. Instead of moving toward him, though, or really acknowledging him in any way, it doesn't move at all. Arturo notices something out of the corner of his eye, and though it's distant, he sees lights. Headlights. Multiple headlights moving in both directions in the landscape. The highway. Arturo looks back, but it's gone. With nothing else to do, he starts to get up. He's sure that he didn't see those lights before he collapsed, but a lot of memory is missing. Several patches between when he was shot and now are unaccounted for, and what he just saw is probably a product of his failing brain. So wordlessly, he walks in his wide stance with his arms swinging awkwardly, knowing that nothing will be the same again. After telling Brian everything he can remember, the bear seems satisfied.
Did you try and talk to them?
No. I didn't have time.
Brian waves away the coyote's excuse.
Just do it next time. I won't interrupt you.
Cameron wants to tell the bear that he's not sure he can even talk to them. The red one was the Flynn monster, right? Yeah, the red one is Flynn, an old friend. Marsh, goddamn it. It's a really good name for that clip. Because after all this time, he's starting to think he shouldn't even be able to. He can see what's happened in the past, maybe even see what might happen in the future, but that's it. He only sees a record, but if they acknowledge him, communicate with him, then that's something he doesn't want anything to do with. Devin has said that he doesn't believe in demons, but that's what Cameron thinks they are. All of these unexplainable forces that haunt and torment the living. It's all demons. Brian disappears again, and because he doesn't grab the coyote, Cameron assumes he isn't meant to follow him. A minute or two later, Cameron hears the loud snorting sound and he flinches. Then it happens again, and Cameron looks over to see Brian leaning over the counter, head low. Combined with the sound and the posture, the coyote knows that the bear is definitely snorting something. He'd been in a similar position many times in his past. Either way, he's not about to ask the bear what he's snorting. He can only hope that it's something that knocks Brian out, or at least slows him down. After sniffing and dabbing at his nostrils, the bear returns to Cameron's side.
Well, let's go outside to a spot that I think you'll get better reception or whatever.
Oh no. Before Cameron can fully comprehend what Brian just said, he finds himself being forced over the huge bear's shoulder before being lifted in a fireman's carry. Cameron closes his eyes, clutching into the fur on Brian's back as the bear lumbers heavily around, listening to the sounds of a screen door swinging open, then shut. He can sense that they're outside, the air warm from the lingering heat of the day. Then he finds his feet coming into contact with the ground. Cameron looks at his surroundings while Brian ambles around 5 feet away, kicking at the dirt and foliage. It's twilight now, at least as far as Cameron can tell. The eerie, ominous red hasn't gone away, even though they're well past sunset. The first time he tried mushrooms, colors did change, but in the sense that they became more vibrant and saturated. The forest looks just like it did when he had the vision about the static entity. He was with Dev then. How was this even happening? Who's having these thoughts?
Evan?
What?
Cameron jolts back to the present, even though it's not the present, because time has stopped existing and this is just a moment, a never-ending series of moments. Is time always happening at once? Brian is still looking at him with a piercing gaze, and his fur is once again writhing about on his body as if it's come back to life.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time concentrating.
He'd lost himself for a moment and just blurted the first name that came to his mind to center himself and confirm that he still exists. The trip is reaching the same levels he experienced in high school that had sent him running through an unfamiliar public park, his friends having to chase and pin him down.
I'll fucking bet. I didn't even measure what I gave you, because I thought you'd only take a swallow. That was a fuck ton, though.
Oh,
There's nothing he can add to that. It's scary, but it's the way Brian is acting that's really scaring him. Whatever he took is very obviously kicking in, and it's definitely not calming him down.
Something wrong?
Brian's tone is taunting and cruel, and to Cameron's horror, Brian comes closer, right next to the coyote.
no, I'm just feeling off because of the shrooms.
Aw, shit. You're on like 3 milligrams of Xannies, too. I totally forgot. Fuck. You better not fall asleep or go delirious on me, understand? Because if you do, I'll probably just kill you.
Cameron stays still. He's reached a stage where he feels solidly stuck in a deep dream, one that he'll be in for several more hours. Who's dreaming?
Hey, what's the matter? Making you feel uncomfortable? Is there something wrong with me?
Cameron shakes his head with tiny jerks, barely moving it.
I asked you a fucking question!
No, I'm noticing you're on something. That's all.
Well, no shit, kid. You think I was blowing my nose in there, or something?
Well, I was thinking maybe you were going to see things together, and you'd take a downer, but looks like you're on an upper.
How would I want to see that shit when I got you? I don't like the ones out here. That's why I took it. Wanna guess what I'm on?
Cameron doesn't, but now he knows cowering isn't going to help him. He plays along.
Maybe cocaine? Adderall?
You fucking kidding me, kid? Adderall? Do I look like a college brat trying to pull an all-nighter? Shit's like a cup of coffee to me.
Cameron doesn't say anything, but Brian keeps quiet, like he's waiting for the next guess.
Meth?
Too expensive, but close enough. It's methadrone.
Okay, sorry, I never really did stims.
Not after what happened to his mother.
Bath salts.
Oh,
No.
And it feels fucking amazing!
What follows is the sight of a 500-pound bear awkwardly dancing and swinging his massive arms around violently, growling and laughing. It's terrifying. As the crazed bear is shadowboxing about 20 feet away, Cameron begins to realize he might be able to run. With his muscles weak from the sedative and his mindset absolutely fucked from the hallucinogen, he might not be able to outrun Brian. He's starting to forget that he even exists. Still, he might be able to hide. The desert is full of cracks and crevices that he might be able to squeeze into to wait out. Brian is there, heaving for breath.
Oh, gotta relax. It's been a while, so I'm getting a huge rush. Gotta remember, I ain't as young as I used to be. My probably gonna give out any day now.
Please, please let your heart give out. Please, just die and let this nightmare, this decades-long nightmare you've created, end.
Way too much. Anyway, it's making me forget what we're even doing. Remind me again, little buddy.
Brian smiles at the young coyote, and Cameron takes that as his cue to smile back. If Cameron is remembering correctly, stimulants make people more empathetic, and he hopes he can tap into that.
I'm going to help you calm down some spirits.
Cameron wants to say, and then you'll let me go, but Brian doesn't keep promises, and bringing it up might only trigger him to do more terrible things. That, and now they're outside, Cameron is sure he can feel Devon's presence alive, but hurt, and the coyotes desperately trying to figure out what to do next. But Brian seems to know exactly what's on Cameron's mind.
What about your bear? Maybe I was just getting the wrong vibes, but I think he's your boyfriend.
Oh, of course. That's why I'm doing this.
Oh, fuck! I forgot to tell he's overheating in the van. Got distracted with you and left him in there too long.
A few seconds pass, during which Cameron's mind is telling him 10 different ways to react. Cameron knows for a fact that Devon's alive, but should he act terrified to satisfy the bear? Brian interrupts with a giggle.
Nah, he's fine. Just wanted to make sure the feelings between you two are mutual. Your face says it all.
Brian laughs again and even lets out a high-pitched whoop that echoes around the quiet forest. Not knowing what else to do, Cameron does his best to go along with Brian's game and forces a laugh.
Holy shit, you really got me there. I thought my heart was about to give out.
Damn, you're cute. Cutest little Yoda I've ever seen.
Oh, thanks. Drugs, they make everything seem better. I think I'm more on the ugly side of things, if I'm being honest. I mean, I haven't showered in a while either.
Cameron pretends to self-consciously smooth over his head fur.
Nah, you're cute before I amped up. Also, guys shit themselves, either because they were scared, or they thought it would stop me doing what I did. It didn't, because this shit I'm on makes me horny as fuck. So not only do you look cute, it is cute, thinking that it might help you.
Of course. Cameron saw the torture Brian inflicted, and the bear had to be drugged up whenever he was doing it. Cameron can especially remember Daniel's experience and his thoughts. 10, 15, sometimes 20 hours of nonstop physical and mental torture, and it would go on and on and on. It wouldn't stop until the bear's exhausted body would pass out. Then he would sleep for an entire day, sometimes longer, before the process would begin again.
But luckily for you, we got more important things to do. Come stand here next to me.
Okay, I'm gonna help you.
Cameron tries to make it sound like he's on the bear's side. Who's thinking these thoughts? But as Cameron moves to stand beside Brian, it finally seems to sink in that Brian is going to kill them. Not because it's obvious, but because he's starting to pick up on the bear's thoughts. He's reading his mind. He thinks he's murdered Artie, but he didn't. For whatever reason, either because he's outside or because he's spacing out even more, he's certain of that. He'd never been close friends with the cat, but Cameron had gone to know him, and that feeling, that amalgamation of a person that is Artie, it's still out there. Cameron mentally reaches out to the cat, but it's so far, so distant, something is wrong with Artie. His amalgamation is missing some parts. Devon's is still full and nearby, and it shines like a beacon in the darkness of the barren desert. So while Brian is telling him to contact people he murdered and buried under the ground, Cameron instead reaches out for Devon. A few minutes after Brian left, Devon became frantic. Even though he knows it won't help, it will only make things worse. The instinctual part of his brain overwhelms everything. With low, bearish grunts and growls, he yanks and pulls and lunges with all his weight, just trying to get something other than his own wrists to break. He'd already contemplated dislocating and even breaking his thumbs to pull his paws out of the cuffs, like he'd seen characters do in some movies. But just by looking at the metal, he can tell they're too well fitted for that to do any good. He could gnaw his thumbs off, and he'd still be stuck. So he'd just yank until blood is seeping into his paw fur, and even with that added lubrication, they don't budge. Please, please, please. It's the only word he says with each grunt of exertion. Finally, as the drugged water begins to take effect, Dev slumps on his side, crying. He sobs harder than he ever has in his adult life. Cameron, I'm so sorry, Cameron. Please. He killed them, all because he needed to find out. Turns out he will find out, because they're going to die. How could he do this to Cameron? How could he be so stupid, naive, inconsiderate, selfish? In a flash of rage and desperation, Devon viciously gnaws at his right forearm, snarling. Again, he knows it's senseless, pointless, detrimental, but the self-loathing is all-consuming, and mostly he just wants to punish himself. After several seconds, he stops, and after blinking away the blur of tears, he sees that while some of his fur is missing, he mostly broke the skin. Devin lets out a hopeless, despairing laugh, even while tears stream down his face. The metal enclosure makes the laugh sound hollow and loud, and that's when Devin stops as he realizes how unhinged he sounds, how he shouldn't be acting like this. He doesn't have a right to break down. His friend is dead, and his best friend. Devin knows he needs to do everything he can to get out. The next time Brian is within reach, he is going to do everything he can to make sure he dies. He'll rip his throat out. But while that fire is rekindled in his chest, he can't fight whatever drug the bear gave him. Devin suspects that it's making him a bit delirious too. Either way, it's powerful, and Devin knows he probably won't be able to do much for an hour or two, so he lays down, trying to keep his ears open so he can be ready for the old bear if he comes back. If Cameron dies, it doesn't matter if I escape, I will be able to live with that. Who is this?
I think woman.
Okay. Maddie! Maddie! Mateo! Huh? No one's used a second name since. Why couldn't you just watch her?
Devin!
Devin stays curled up because he knows he imagined that, or his brain is playing tricks on him, or...
Devin! It's me! I'm here!
Cam? Devin stares at the swirling patterns and lines.
Are you okay?
No. No, none of us are okay. You're not okay. I don't even know if you're alive. Devin tries to move toward Cameron, but he stays at a constant 10 feet away, no matter how hard the bear tries to get to him.
Devin, I'm real!
Cameron carefully enunciates each of those words.
I'm doing this through, my mind, I think. I'm fucking psychic, remember?
Well, now I know this is my bullshit. This is what got us into this nightmare in the first place.
Devin.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. You are exactly what I was hoping you'd be. You don't exist. My sick, fucked up mind is making up this version of you that I have no right to create, and... Devin's voice trembles with emotion. He's never had a dream before where he's felt this real, this alive, and of course it's happening when he's feeling at his absolute worst. I just wish you were real so I can actually tell you how sorry I am. But I can't take any of this back, even if we somehow make it out. And you look fine, but I know you're not fine because you're with that goddamn bear. It's quiet for a moment, the only sound being Devin sobbing.
Devin, I know there isn't much I can do to convince you that I'm real. All I can say is that I am real, and that I love you dearly.
I love you too.
And yeah, Brian is hurting me. Just like he's hurting all of us.
What's he doing to you?
What happened to me not being real?
Well, just in case. Are you okay? The look on Cameron's face makes Devin's stomach drop.
Well, not really, no. But he's keeping me alive. So that's what's important. But you can see those patterns?
Yeah.
Well, Brian drugged me with shrooms, and I'm tripping absolute balls right now. Hallucinogens enhance my abilities, and I think I kinda created this space. I really can't make this stuff up.
Well, maybe you're right. But he drugged me too, you know. This could still all be me.
You don't give psychedelics to someone you're trying to sedate. Anyways, it turns out that I'm not that different from my mom. It's all arches. I can see them when I take certain drugs.
Dev looks at the pattern, and for the first time he feels like that might actually be real. Cameron?
It's me, yes.
Cameron, oh my god, please let this be real, baby. I'm so sorry.
No. We don't have time right now. Also, I kinda read your mind, so I already know. I'm sorry about that, by the way. It just happened automatically. But I can sense Brian's thoughts, too. and I know where you are, where the van is, and that they are in a set of handcuffs, and I know where the keys are. I'll get you out somehow.
Cameron, honey, please don't do anything that might get you hurt. Please. Devin sees Cameron's lips tremble.
Devin, you know I can't promise that in this situation. Neither of us can. But we're doing this together.
Chill.
Uh-oh.
Cameron! Sorry.
You're fine.
Shit!
Brian, is he there with you?
I'm gonna be fine. But I gotta go. I love you.
Cameron! No, damn it, please! He crumples into the darkness, feeling helpless. He should be there with Cameron, not here, sleeping and doing nothing. We're doing this together. With a great deal of effort, Devin smothers the frustration and terror, knowing that he should have some faith in his boyfriend. If Cameron thinks he can do this, then Devin realizes he has to believe him. He just wishes he could fully believe what just happened is real, even though Cameron had convinced him at the moment. So he continues to rest, waiting to see if his coyote comes to free him, and hopefully then he can finally get his claws on Brian.
You've been standing there for a good 10 minutes. So what'd you see?
Well, I'm having trouble because they won't talk to me.
Oh, and why is that?
I think it's because you're here. They're scared of you. Maybe if you...
Cameron screams, clawing, clutching at the huge fist on his ear, Brian twisting it viciously before lifting up so that Cameron's feet actually lift off the ground. He didn't know it was possible to feel that much pain from his ears, even though he knows they're sensitive.
Ah! Stop!
You sneaky fucking... Not saying it.
Cool.
Oops.
He violently shakes
You really
Cameron.
thought I was gonna say it, did you? Sorry.
Well, it's in the moment.
I was really scared.
And also, I just have I make it a habit of being like, caution,
Yeah.
Will Robinson.
I knew about that line beforehand.
Okay, good.
I was prepared for it.
He violently shakes Cameron, and the coyote twists his body, grabbing the bear's forearm and trying to get his legs lifted up and wrapped around the bear's bicep to lessen the pressure, but Brian won't allow it.
You know you said everything out loud just now.
What?
You know exactly what.
Cameron is slammed up against the trunk of the tree, the impact resonating through his body. Instantly, Brian's huge, ragged muzzle is next to his own, snorting heavily. Cameron fights as best as he can, but his feet are off the ground again, and he kicks and twists, but the grip is more powerful than anything he's felt before. You can actually feel his eyes bulge and his tongue stick out involuntarily, and once again he finds himself drowning. In that moment, it isn't the crushing pressure on his neck or the horrible rancid breath that's coming from the old bear that Cameron notices most. It's that Brian doesn't even seem angry. He doesn't seem enraged that the coyote had been contacting Devin. He doesn't seem upset that Cameron broke his word to help the old bear with his demons. Instead, Brian looks excited, ecstatic, all while staring right into Cameron's face, watching the coyote's mouth open and close noiselessly. Vaguely, Cameron can sense a battle taking place inside Brian. He desperately wants to have his way with Cameron, but he also wants Cameron to exorcise the ghosts. But Cameron can also sense that Brian is realizing his plans were doomed from the start. How would he ever hide the fact that he killed a loving couple in his infamous abandoned town? He knows people will look for them, unlike his previous victims. Bear's deciding that they're all going to die, that this is the end, and he'll end with one final victim.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Brian hisses in Cameron's face. Something moves out of the corner of Cameron's eye, and he looks to see a somewhat familiar face. It's black, void-like features with swirling red eyes stare at him. It's watching him too, like it's just as fascinated as Brian. Cameron senses very little intention or emotion from this creature, but he finally realizes that its purpose in this forest is simple: record the terrible things that happen in it. Cameron is about to become one of its next recordings. The coyote's vision blurs and one paw drops, to slip into Brian's pocket, disguising it as him trying to push the bear away. He feels and finds the single key that he knew would be there.
Damn it. You're a fucking cute one, you know.
Brian's voice trembles with cruel, passionate emotion and nuzzles the coyote. He squeezes harder and Cameron's eyes roll up, all while putting the key in his own pocket, but he's not sure it matters. Brian isn't letting up. As he fades into darkness, Cameron feels a part of himself die. The trip peaks and suddenly Cameron is everything at once. He's a trailer home in the Northwest. He's a desert lake. He's a broken road in the middle of nowhere. He's being hit by a van. He's a train cutting through the wilderness. He's been shot in the head. He's been hung from a tree. He's been beaten to death. He's swimming under an arch. He's in space shuttle smashing into the ocean. He's a dead town. Dead, but with working reflexes, using tools still clutched in his grasp. Cameron disappears and these thoughts and feelings are no longer his, because he isn't who he is. He is everything. And because of that, he can see everything. I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
First to be continued.
I'm gonna more.
First to be continued.
Yeah. Happy first to be continued, Starkey.
Welcome to the experience of reading furry visual novels, Starkey.
Chad is pissed. Chad is lit. Oh my god.
Hey, why is Kai mad? I don't get it.
I will give you my
Okay, you want
Patreon.
No.
Oh yeah, Kaya's Patreon. But we can't read that on stream, so
Yeah, there is
We can't-
more.
We have to wait. We have to wait until it's in the out for the public.
Yep.
So we can read it.
you're not allowed to stream Patreon content.
Oh my.
No one is happy.
So, Starkey, how are you feeling?
This is the penultimate update, right?
Nope.
No.
This
How
is the one
much-
Next
before
one
the
is.
ultimate update.
God damn. So it in theory the next one should hit the climax and then the ultimate one should like wrap it up.
Yes.
Yes.
So we stopped at the worst fucking time. This is basically just the peak of the shit that's happening.
Basically.
Do you remember what I sent you this morning?
What?
Here, I'll
I'm trying to remember.
I replied to it on you don't say it out loud, but I replied to it on Telegram.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. That was what you were referring to. I do remember that.
Yes.
Well,
But just be
Pseudowolf. It's near its end, so us starting this now is probably the best for
Yeah.
the best. So having just waiting on it probably makes no difference.
It's also the world's
Also-
cleanest stopping point.
Yeah, that was a very good stopping point. That's a very good finale. The one I hated the most was when it was the update before this, because it ended right when it was like right when it told you Artie's been shot, Dev is in the van, and it's Dev's thoughts about like the twisting force.
Yes.
That's when that update ended.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, let me.
And so everyone was like, Artie's fucking dead? Holy shit.
Oh.
What the
Yes.
fuck? Dev's in a
Yeah,
van?
Starkey-
What the
Starkey,
fuck?
Save.
Oh, that's
Save.
fair. Saved.
Yeah, that it was me and Robin were having chats about she was on team Artie's dead for good and I was on team Artie must live.
Artie still might die. My man's skull is caved in from a fucking
Yeah, but he's not
bullet.
dead yet.
Yeah,
So
he's-
so I won.
He's going to get help.
He's going to die, but he's not dead yet.
Oh my god, I'm in Spain. What? Oh, that fucking to be continued it stabbed me. I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming because you told me it's like, oh, we're actually closing in on the end. I knew it was gonna come around this part, but also, goddamn,
Such a good cliffhanger.
it's a really really good one.
Yeah.
It's a really good moment to stop. Oh god. So Marsh, if you want to start looking to see who we can raid into. I think that the chat messages, the raid message is just gonna be chat Angie. It's gonna be my scream emote, chat Angie.
We got
We got.
Mari, Outcast, Cider, Shiba,
Let's see. Is
Shin,
Shiva still going?
Korvik. I think so, yeah. Aljac. Yeah, they're still going.
I legit was breathing that whole time. It feels chat Angie. Chat's pissed.
How far are they in Tunic?
Oh, they're at the first boss.
Hey, wait, which one?
The Guardian, Forest Guardian, or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, the spider.
Okay, let me go ahead and get the
And oh, go ahead.
wrap up music I've got going.
Oh,
So
no.
Shiba?
Yeah, we can go to
Yep.
Shiba.
Oh, they're at that Guardian. Okay, I thought they meant the forest. I thought they meant the spider.
Okay,
No.
so it's not the spider, it's the
guy. It's the one with the sword.
one
Yeah.
that I accidentally end up kind of cheesing by not finding the ice dagger to make it significantly easier. Think of the hydrate.
Yes, that one.
So, Starkey, your
Yes.
thoughts on everything that happened?
Yes.
A lot happened.
Yeah. So, we've upgraded from emotional abuse.
Yeah, we're now
Emotional
well
torture.
into the physical abuse, the physical
How
trauma.
was it like seeing your children twisted and torn?
Yeah.
Brian is a very well written villain. I need him to just be Thanos snapped. Disintegrated into unreality. I need therapy now, thanks, Lamau. Same though. Good thing I have therapy tomorrow.
Same. You do your therapist. So there's this furry visual novel. Well, so you see what a furry is, okay, and what a visual novel is.
What's a furry?
All right, so we're gonna start this raid into Shiba Bites. Well, first of all, Marsh, sell yourself.
Well, I'm Marshmallow Bears. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch and a member of Break Trail, and I also read visual novels sometimes over on my streams. So if you liked my acting, come and hang out. And so yeah.
Love the energy. Truly impeccable. impeccable. But yeah, so we're gonna start the raid into Shiba. Wait, no, not Shutout raid. Shiba Bites. Anyways, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. For those of you who do not know and joined us just tonight, I'm Starkey Morph, Big Acre on the Internet, variety streamer, live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. EST. I mostly play indie games, however, I've expanded to Nintendo VR from soft worlds. Whatever games happen to interest me. Tomorrow will probably be Elden Ring, if I'm being honest. But yeah, every Tuesdays is visual novel night with Marsh, and yeah, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Kind of makes me happy to see this doing so well. But yeah, for those who'd like to keep up to date with the stream, I do have a Twitter, but my Twitter link is still broken because I need to just set aside time to fix stream at some point. I have a YouTube if you like to catch up with the VODs and, you know, see all the content you missed. I will be uploading, you know, if you would like to catch up on what all happened in Arches that led to this fucking disaster situation, those will be on the YouTube. I have a TikTok where I'll be posting edited content made by Michio, so give me a follow there. And then I have a Discord if you'd like to hop in there to say hi to the Sweet Beans and see all the cursed content the Sweet Beans post. We're going to raid into Shiba Bites, who's a very, very sweet bean himself. And yeah, he's playing through Tunic, which is a game we played through on stream. Very, very fun game. So yeah, go give them a follow. Go give them all the love in the world. And thank you for being here. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening. And thank you for coming for emotional trauma.
Hey, keep in mind, this is Shiba's first time playing Tunic, so no spoilers.
No spoilers. Love y'all. Bye.